Good morning.
Good morning.
And greetings. I'm Courtney. This is the brilliant Geo.
Thank you.
And we're going to get started on a live interactive demo with typography today in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, a classic.
Yeah. Very excited about this. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Me
just
too.
So excited to just jump into it.
Let's just jump right in.
Yeah. But I think we wanted to ask the chat, like, what do we want to do? But then I can just probably get started on it.
You can get started. I'll be hosting, and if you all have any questions or have any ideas about what we want to be working on and what you would like to see today, then let us know. I'll read off your questions, and we'll just have a nice little chat here today.
Okay.
Let's keep
Amazing.
Keep it trill.
Yeah. So I have here my Illustrator open, and you got a bit stretched all around. It's a pretty simple program. How's the sound? Is the sound levels okay, everyone?
Hey.
Hello, chat.
Hey, Jack. We see you there.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
So basically, I was just gonna start on.
So we're starting with a basic font, just Adobe.
Yeah. I think I'll just do Adobe. I don't want to like over exaggerate with wording and lettering. I do enjoy writing and filling out my screen with many words and things that I'm feeling, and a lot of the times I do that, but I think this time due to the time constraint, I'll keep it simple.
Yeah, and if we have extra time, we can always add a little razzle-dazzle.
That's true.
So you're starting with an Adobe font, which there are plenty of that you can use if you're a Creative Cloud subscriber. They are available to you. Amazing.
Yeah, and I'm just using Adobe Clean Font, where Adobe uses on all of their apps as a basic piece. I guess.
Oh, cool. I didn't know you could do that in Illustrator. I just became familiar with Illustrator, by the
Really?
way. Yes, in preparation
Okay.
for this live, they had us make our graphics and customize them using Adobe Illustrator.
Okay. Wow.
So let us know in the chat. Are you all familiar with Adobe Illustrator? Are you familiar with the steps that Geo's taking right now? Wow, you're moving.
I'm gonna go fast.
So if you said, yep, the sound levels are good, by the way.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of people. Hello, everyone.
I know.
So sorry. I in my defense, you guys are too far away from me. I can barely see it.
I got you. I got 2020. So everyone's just saying hi. We've got Wilmer saying hi. Marcella says okay.
Hello.
Shauna says cool.
Amazing.
We're all here.
Yeah. So I'm basically, I'll just kind of like also talk through my process, what I'm doing.
Please do.
I am splitting the shapes because later on we'll be animating it as well later in the day on my second session.
Nice.
But right now all we're doing is basically, I'm just like kind of like preparing it ahead of time and kind of working on two things at once because I don't want to do this thing again and later on, so.
Oh, I see. Always smart.
Yeah.
Says Geo's audio is a little on the soft side if you want to.
I'm very soft-spoken. Should I yell like this?
And I'm very loud. I'm trained in theater, so I project.
I am not from theater. I'm from design school.
All right, we got a couple other comments coming in. Broga says, hi, Geo.
Hello, bros. What's up?
He says, I like
friends?
your stickers. Those are dope stickers, by the way.
These are all from my friends.
Nice.
Everyone, shout out to my friends.
And then
Thank
let's see. Joffrey says,
Hello, Joffrey.
what's up? I love Illustrator for making 3D shapes as object files or
Amazing.
OBJ files. I love that new feature. Ooh, what is that new feature?
I have no idea.
Oh, maybe you should hop on here and teach us something.
I don't do that.
Well, that's the cool thing about all of the Adobe products is everyone can find their own unique form of creativity within it. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many features that I've heard about. I am not very familiar with it, so I just try to I feel like my style can be seen as like intense, but it uses simple forms and basically techniques.
Oh, nice.
So basically what I'm doing right now is kind of like splitting the shapes into, I feel like if you were to written like, let's say this Adobe font with like one line, how would you write it? Kind of like this, and then you have like the D kind of like this, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. That's why there are like some lines here split, and that's what I'm doing. So later on, it could be like expanded into like, ooh, like, hold on. This is really bad.
Yeah, show us how to manipulate those anchor points.
But yeah. So yeah, basically that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. It's kind of going through every single anchor point, extra ones, and I'm just kind of deleting them. So sorry, Adobe, for messing up with your font. But, you know, like these fonts here, like 2 extra anchor points beside one another I don't want that. So I'm just gonna simplify it a bit so it's easier for me to work with later on.
Maddie Joe says, I learned everything about Illustrator through Geo.
Hello, Maddie. Welcome. Nice to see you here. It's incredible. It's a lot of friends here. I'm so excited.
Love it. That's what friends are for, to tune into your lives.
Yeah.
You teach them a little bit of your expertise.
Oh, man. I am also very nervous.
Oh, we're just having a good old time. Sit back.
Yeah.
Relax.
For real. Yeah, actually, that's what I do. Because I also stream on my own time, and I just kind of like just, you know, just like you said, relax and
Creativity
enjoy
is
the
relax.
rides.
It should be relaxing, I think. And I think
Yeah.
the best creativity comes about from a more relaxed state. Like, you can't just be completely limp, but, you know, when you can breathe, you can think.
I'm going to be very limp now.
Oh, and Claudia says it's okay. They messed up your name.
Hello, Claudia.
Mm-hmm. But that's why these products are so good, is you can make quick changes if you need to.
Yeah. So I'm just continuing to
This
basically, kind of like split the E here, and it's overlapping. But if I go back to the regular, as if nothing has changed, it's all the same, you know? But if I go into the wireframe, you can see all the like split, and the shapes are ready to be pretty much animated.
Okay.
But that's later on, guys. This is later on. This also is gonna help me now to kind of play with the shapes a bit. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'll just keep it kind of like split simply.
Oh my gosh,
So-
we have time. Will you make one with my name?
Yeah.
So cool.
Okay. We have, I think it's kind of, ready. So then I'll just kind of like duplicate this. Didn't work. There you go. I'll just lock this here. And I'm going to work with this piece here, and we will see what we can do. Honestly, I'm kind of easy on like just, I don't know, designing it.
Okay.
What I like to do is I use a lot of maximalism, where it's kind of like it fills up the whole screen.
I
So
love that.
yeah, maybe I'm literally just gonna do that, you know? My teacher told me never stretch fonts, and here I am.
And look at you stretching fonts. But you have to learn the rules so you know when and how to break them. That's
I'm sorry, what are the rules?
What's a rule?
What are
rules? What are rules in creativity? Guidelines, structures.
Yeah.
Brogue
yeah.
says, Gio, don't be nervous. You're doing great.
Oh, thank you so much, Brooks.
I
Brooks
agree.
is an amazing musician and also an amazing designer.
Oh,
and,
amazing.
they've helped me a lot with just like trying to like be myself kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
I
Always, like-
wonder, as a musician, are you using the Adobe products to help amplify your music, your performances probably as well? That's a really great dual skill to have, to be able to perform, but then to also be able to promote your performances.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about Adobe is like it has a lot of different apps that can definitely like help with it and just basically elevate yourself, you know, just in general. And that's why I use a lot of apps as well, because they all kind of work
together
intuitively together as well. And that's sometimes they're like different shortcuts and everything, but it's not a kind of like a big deal. It's just it was made by different people, all of them. So, but they all kind of like have a similar working space and all that.
This is too cool to see this process. Oh my goodness. And this is all from just a regular schmegular font.
Yeah. I also do it by hand, and sometimes I like to draw it. Nice. Drawing it, I find it a lot more relaxing. Mm-hmm. For example, when I have like a really like a stressful day or there's a lot happened, maybe I just sit down and kind of like just draw it.
That's nice. And then do you upload it into the system and play with it some more in an Illustrator?
Yeah.
So
Usually I just leave it in Photoshop actually, and then in Illustrator it makes things like very clean.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's what I noticed when I was using it for the first time. I was like, this is a very clean process. Can you show us how to change the color on this font?
Yeah.
Mr. Slow-Mo Pro says, Geo is my Lord and Savior.
Thank
wait,
you.
I missed it. How do you change the color?
Well, there's this little color box where you can just like quickly change to basically any color you want, and this is pretty much like an Adobe color as well.
That is the Adobe
You know?
color.
Yeah.
Aw, Joffrey said, hello. How are y'all doing today, by the way?
Hello, Joffrey. What's
We're
up?
doing good. It's a little early. We've got coffee here. We're doing it.
I honestly thank you for reminding it. I got some coffee.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes. Good morning, you all.
Hi, chat. How's it going, chat?
Yeah, this is a great way to start the day. Ask us questions. Ask us anything about the process. That's what we're here for, and we still have plenty of time. I think I'm gonna get my design in, you all. He's gonna do a Courtney specialized, and I'm gonna post it. Doing good.
Am I?
You're doing great.
Okay. The thing here is with this piece. Also, sometimes I like to sketch it out. I guess sketching just helps me to like visualize it a bit. So I think we'll just do that because I don't quite like I think it's too stretched now. I stretched it a bit too much. Maybe I should stretch it sideways rather. Like instead of doing it that way, I just kind of do it this way. So it's a bit more
This is so cool.
breathable, I guess.
Yes, breathing room for your design. It is very crucial.
Yeah, where's the Adobe logo? I need some reference. Is there any
Where are
Adobe
you?
logo?
We're sitting in the Adobe studio. Where is an Adobe logo?
Oh, hold on. I have an Adobe sticker right here. Yeah, I'm a certified professional according to the sticker.
According to the stickers.
Which I got it from I'm not gonna tell you who. But hold on, I forgot to look at it. Okay, there you go. Oh, so it's the other way. Okay, the A is actually, so this is kind of the Adobe logo, just in a simple terms. So I think what I'm gonna do is kind of like sketch it and see. Instead of keeping it squared like this here, I'll just like keep it a bit sharp. And then the D is actually really interesting because it doesn't quite fit in, but I'm gonna make it look a bit more edgy and then kind of like go like probably like this. So this is gonna be changed to that, and then it's pretty simple. It's just like a circle. I also have a.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
We got the Adobe logo, folks.
Yeah, mine's better. So.
I love that confidence. We love that.
And then I think I'm gonna do something like pretty simple. I like doing the E, but the B is a bit too. I don't know. It's kind of got the. So all I'm doing is like kind of like sketching out using the blob brush tool, which is a Shift B shortcut. Also, I use a lot of shortcuts, and I just kind of like fly through it because I spend a lot of time learning them.
That's yeah. Once you learn these tools, you can just fly through.
And they're all kind of same too, and
they do. They really are.
A lot of the apps. So this is what I'm kind of going for, and I think I'll just kind of manipulate this a bit into that, and just kind of flip it this way. And
so you just create that sketch just to give yourself a reference of what you're aiming for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. So I can like tell where I'm going. So then now I can actually do exactly that, and I don't have to try to imagine it. It's good to have your imagination like written or even like sketched out, so it's easier for yourself later on because you'll be busy creating it.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
Don't keep everything up in your head. Get some things down.
Yeah, like
on
Batman,
page.
you know, like Batman will be prepared.
Clever Devlin said blob. Woo! That is it's a very official term, the blob tool.
Is the chat on top Behance?
I think the
and
one
then
on
the bottom is YouTube, right?
I think the top.
There are like two chats.
I thought the bottom was Behance and the top looks like YouTube.
No, I think top is Behance.
There you go.
Yeah.
These people, y'all are talking about lunch and dinner, and you're making us hungry, and we can't eat yet.
Yeah, what should I have for dinner?
Yeah, what should we have for breakfast? How about that? Let's start there, guys.
Have you What's your favorite spot? Like, are you from here?
I am
SF,
from the
or-
San Francisco Bay Area, Daly City. Woo woo! How about them Niners, y'all? I keep going around and telling people that. Sorry, I'm not a Niners fan, even though this is my hometown.
Oh boy.
Oh, and Mr. Slow Mo Pro says, "Tell Geo toasted by Ellie. Send some love, or Eli."
Oh. Toast by Eli.
Oh, thank
wait,
you,
wait,
Rose.
wait. Slow mo. Is that you, Jack? Is that Jack? Eli, I love you, man.
Aww.
You're so great.
And thank you all for confirming which chats you are. I see the Behance and I see the YouTube. But you're all here. We're all
Confirming this chat is usable. Thank you so
together.
much, Jack.
We're all
I don't know if you're Jack actually, but
Ah!
I'm just like you're
I
Jack.
love
You're
you.
Jack though. Okay, the letter O always has so many anchor points, and I hate that.
Oh, you were asking me what my favorite place is.
Yeah.
Great question, because there's been so many new restaurants. I like Stacks, honestly, for breakfast.
Okay.
And there's a few locations around the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Stacks is good.
Yesterday I had Senior Sisig.
I tried them. How'd you like it?
I liked it. It was very
Spicy?
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of flavor
A
in
lot,
a burrito.
yeah. Yeah, the
No.
burrito was like filled with stuff, everything, and
No.
it was so filling and very flavorful. And I had it
Unique flavor blends in there because it's a Filipino fusion
yeah,
with
with Mexican, I
a
think.
Mexican mission style burrito.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me started on burritos, you all. Let's see. Claudia says dumpling time in SF is so good. I've heard great things about that place. Actually, I think I need to go as well.
Oh, it's Eli. Okay, sorry, Jack. I mean, sorry, Eli. We have a mutual friend whose name is. I thought. Okay, yeah. Okay, so slow mo pro easy like hello.
Oh, great.
Eli.
Back on the topic, Clever Devlin says the blob tool goes well with simplify function and smooth tool.
Yeah,
Can you show us some of those?
I have no idea.
You're like, yes.
Okay, hold on. I do know what they are, but I oftentimes forget the names because I got so used to the shortcuts. If you tell me the shortcut,
Does
I
anyone
could
know the
probably know. I probably know what that is. You know.
Yeah, what is the shortcut for the simplify function and smooth tool? Clever Devlin.
If you know it.
Oh yeah, what Mexican and Filipino fusion? Yes, that is it. That sounds too good. It is so good. My sister turned me onto it, and I picked up a few
Really?
burritos for the family recently, and
Oh, incredible.
we loved it. But if we're talking the best burritos in San Francisco, look no further than El Farlito. And there's 2 locations in the Mission.
Okay.
Go there. I believe Anthony Bourdain, when he was alive, may he rest, I believe he came by and tried that spot.
Okay.
And approved, very much approved. So it is Courtney approved. It is Anthony Bourdain approved. Go
Okay.
there.
Yeah. It's also nearby too, so
Exactly.
should definitely check them out.
Go get that burrito. Like go. Because that was like a fancy burrito that you had. That was like a special.
Really? It was a
yeah, that's
fancy
not.
one.
That's like a fun trick like that they do. You know what I mean? Like adding fusion but you need the mission style burrito that San Francisco is known for.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Now I'm starving. We're gonna stop talking about food for a moment. Sean, Adobe, he says Adobe lawyers are freaking out right now, not branded. Don't tell anybody. And if there's any lawyers on the line, well, just
Don't tell Adobe.
be cool right now. Be cool. They brought us here.
Did they?
They did. Oh yeah, right. They asked us to come here. Oh gosh, we've gotten into a whole conversation about burritos in here. Okay. I'm probably gonna mispronounce this unfortunately. El Matate and Papalote is better in my opinion. Okay. I've heard good things about Papalote.
I'm just gonna look at the chat. Oh, hello, Manas. He's a friend of mine from Kyrgyzstan. I'm original from Kyrgyzstan.
Oh really?
And he's a film director too. He's
Nice.
incredible guy.
I'm an
He recently
actress.
worked with Netflix as well, and just
Very
we had like a-
dope. Well, then stick around for the
cool.
next session, definitely, because as an actor, I use Adobe tools to help promote my work as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Umacorn Browers says there's no shortcut for the Simplify tool, by the way. So
Oh.
there we go. Or the Smooth tool. So that makes sense why
How
you're not
ironic.
familiar with it.
Simplify without a simple shortcut.
Yeah. Clever Devlin says, I don't think there are automatic shortcuts nor hotkeys for Smooth and Simplify.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fine. I do set a couple of my shortcuts, by the way.
Luis Carlos asked, do any of you work at an agency? Like, do you do your design for any agencies, or are you an independent?
I'm an independent freelancer. I
Same.
do full-time freelance, but I used to work for agencies. That's where
Mm-hmm.
I got most of my experience doing design.
Nice.
And yeah. Okay, this E looks really
That
strange.
looks so cool, though.
Looks a little like a little human. You know those like old
Yeah.
email logos,
I
like
know
or
exactly
something.
what you're
Like there's a
talking about.
human.
And you see the head in the
Yeah,
center
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And the
Okay,
body
we're
and
not
the
gonna do
arms.
that.
We're not going to do that today.
Actually, I'm not gonna.
Y'all are still on these burritos and tacos. So Joffrey says, excuse me while I buy a ticket to SF to get some burritos. Come on. Just come on. Just go get on the plane. And Francisco says, I'll die on this hill. Here we go. Taco shop at Underdogs makes some of the best burritos in SF. Francisco, I'm going to try that. I'm going to take you up on that. If you are willing to die on that hill, because I'll die on the hill of El Farlito. So,
Oh.
okay. It's so serious because I live in LA.
Okay.
That's a taco town.
Yeah.
They claim they do burritos, but they're not like the San Francisco burritos. At all. No, I think in LA, go get a taco. In San Francisco, go get a burrito.
Okay. I see.
All right.
I still don't know a lot of like. This is my second time visiting SF.
Welcome back.
Thank you. The last time it was like 10 years ago, with my family.
Wow. The city has changed quite a bit in 10 years. Have you noticed?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Because it's been
great.
raining.
It's just been raining. Oh my goodness. It was raining a little bit this morning too.
Yeah, it was like drizzling, and the city seems to have like, it has like, the city slows down a bit when it rains a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah,
as
this
it
E.
should. Be safe out there. All right. Joffrey says, if you come to Brooklyn, Ursula BK has the best breakfast burritos. I do like a good breakfast burrito too, and it is new Mexican style, so it's like native Mexican American fusion. Ooh, that sounds good. Okay.
Which one? What is that?
This is in Brooklyn, Ursula BK. I'm definitely gonna
Okay.
check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in LA, get food truck tacos, says Sean. Yes, those taco trucks will save your life. I agree.
Huh.
Let's see.
I'm just reading. I'm just reading. Hello, Linton, or Lipton, or Linton.
Yes, Jacob Phillips says
Another
El
friend.
Farlito is also cash only. That is true. And Linton, yes, Linton says new Adobe logo. Love the redesign, Gio.
Adobe, do you know why you got me here?
I was gonna say maybe you can present this to someone and be like, switch it up a little bit, have some fun.
Yeah. Also, like just a quick note on while designing this type of thing. Adobe has this automated snaps called smart guides. I usually like to turn them off.
Oh, yes,
so I
yes,
can have
yes.
more freedom to just like manipulate anything and kind of like just play around with it as well.
Absolutely, because you're an expert at this point in this tool. So the smart guides are typically for, and they have guides like that in most of the Adobe products for beginners who are, trying to make sure alignment, margins are straight. But an expert like you, turn it off.
Oh, thank you. But the smart guides, they still help most of the time, kind of like to, if for example, like I have like the bottom here and it's like not aligned. I could do it through like a line tool and just align it. But sometimes
Align tool.
if I do it like, I could do it a bit manually, like where it's just kind of like,
And it'll tell you.
like, yeah, it's kind of like usually snap or. The one thing I like using that tool is when I stretch diagonal lines.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if I want to like stretch this diagonal line, I just put an anchor point here, and then when I stretch it, it's gonna tell me like it's snapping right now, and it says like kind of like the purple line, and it's like perfect line because if I were to do it manually, I don't like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you, so it just. Yeah, so it's kind of, that's what I like
Makes it
using.
nice and clean.
Yeah,
Want a nice, clean design, folks. Nice, clean design.
yeah.
Lyndon said, doesn't Adobe get a new UI? So maybe a new logo would be fitting.
No,
I think there's an opportunity here. Oh, Sean says, I've never used Align for points. Shocking face.
Oh, there's so many new tools too. So there's always like, I also learn all the time with like many like new features, and they've been releasing a lot lately, and I sometimes it's like it's a lot to learn, and it always feels refreshing. So it does feel nice,
It is nice.
and it doesn't get like too old. But today we're just using some basic tools, and this tool, the pen tool, is one of the oldest Illustrator tools. It's actually one of the first ones, and it works exact same way as it was working in 1980s, which
If
is
it ain't broke.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. Don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I'm doing basically right now is kind of like rounding it up, making it look nice and satisfying to look at.
I feel like this is the type of thing you would see at Adobe Max and like a wall of all of the different interpretations of the Adobe logo.
Adobe, you heard Courtney.
I swear, this is exactly because like creatives, we need a space to see other interpretations of what is.
Yeah.
And I can just see that on like a wall of different artists' work saying, this is what the Adobe logo inspires in me.
Yeah. That's actually a good idea, because that way you can see that it's all fitting all together. It's not just like one piece. It's like a lot could be, just like a lot of different styles. And
Joffrey said, wait, 1980?
yeah, 1980s. By the way, the Jack, a friend of mine who I was just talking earlier, he has this really old computer, one of the first Macintosh computers, and he installed first ever Illustrator from 1980s.
That is amazing.
And I just jumped onto it. I just wanted to see what it was capable of. And pen tool, exact same thing.
Wow.
Exactly the same thing. So
Adobe was founded in December 1982. So,
okay, wow,
There's a reason.
somewhere in 1980s.
right. So there's a reason it's been around for so long. And
Yeah.
for some of those tools to remain the exact same makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Adobe is reliable. I think that's the Adobe brand. When I think of Adobe, I think of reliability and creativity.
The apps definitely made me, I feel like, more creative and able to express myself better, because I mean, obviously, back in the day before these apps came out, apps and computers in general, people would do it all manually by hand, and they were very good at it too. But now you're faster at it, and
I love a tool like Illustrator because while I'm a creative and an artist, my hand is particularly heavy. So drawing sometimes I can't necessarily get all of the detailed and the delicate lines. But this tool is exactly... Oh, this looks really cool. This has come together quite nicely.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that!
Just a quick overview of what we have so far.
And we started with, again, a basic clean Adobe font. You have your sketch of what you were aiming for, and now look where we are in the center there. That's gorgeous. I don't think Adobe would mind that out there.
Yeah?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it'll be fine. Sean's asking, no undo. Is there an undo button?
Undo is, well, it's Command Z.
Well, that's the shortcut.
There you go. Yeah, I just keep undoing. I'm going back, and I'm going forward again. So that is an undo.
That's the shortcut.
Undo button. The thing is, I have changed a couple of my shortcuts specifically for the pen tool. The pen tool shortcut in I think it's letter P. So pen stands for P, and then when you press P. But the thing is, on the keyboard, it's so far away that you have to use your right hand while my right hand is busy holding the mouse and manipulating. So my left hand, it has to go. It's not a big deal, but still, it's kind of like a bit of movement.
Right.
But I like to have it all in one place. So instead, I changed it to Shift. What did I change to?
Oh, you changed the commands, the shortcut?
I did, yeah. I changed to Shift Z. So instead of pressing P, I press Shift Z, and it's always like near me, near my left hand. And as you can see, I just kind of like quickly, like if I do A, go direct tool, change to something, press Shift B, and then quickly Shift Z, and without moving my hand, and it just makes the workflow a lot faster.
Yes.
So I just kind of like changing a bit of a shortcut as well.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm basically right now I'm kind of like just
Ooh, I like that O.
working, yeah, with the O and making
love
it
it,
look
like,
fit a bit.
Going over the D a little bit.
Yeah, the thing what I like to do is kind of like, I think, I basically been practicing with this style over COVID, and when you're the whole COVID times, like everyone was inside and no one was like going out, and you have a lot of time now.
Yes.
And that's when I kind of started practicing with this style.
Nice.
And I wanted to kind of also explode in a sense that I wanted to like, oh, I'm tired of sitting inside. I want to get out and I just want to do something, fun. And I think that's how I started expressing myself through typographies. And that's why they're all kind of like maximized, like maximalist.
Yeah, because that's how you feel.
Yeah, and they all like kind of like fit with one another, because I do like to be living in a world where everything fits together and everything is like meant to be with one another, and that's why my letters are kind of like that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Joffrey's asking, Gio, how do you manage to remember all those shortcuts? Did you have a cheat sheet or did it come naturally?
I have them all in my pockets right now. I'm just kidding. It's kind of like a muscle memory. It's whenever you practice a lot. Like Joffrey, you're an amazing pastry designer and a cake. You make incredible cakes, and you would know every single ounce you would need, how much sugar you need, how much chocolate you need to put in this one, and all that stuff. So it's kind of like I'm also trying to like kind of like relate it to what you do as well. But it's kind of like when you do something for so much, you kind of like learn it quickly.
So
and
it
also
becomes...
yeah, and also like, give another simple example is whenever you I don't know if anyone drinks coffee here, like coffee, tea, anything, you would know like how much kind of milk or cream or anything basically, or maybe you don't, maybe you put a bit of honey or sweetener, you would know how much you want that.
You know how much. That's true. It's
Yeah.
it's like cooking. Like a lot of
Right.
people cook without measurements, but you really just know.
Yeah. So same thing with shortcuts. Shortcuts is cooking. I'm cooking here.
You're cooking.
Let
He's
me cook,
cooking, y'all.
guys.
Let him cook. Let him
me
cook.
What time is it? How are we with
Wait,
the
Sean
time?
said Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. I'm aging myself again. I don't know that reference.
Who?
Well, you were saying Command Z for Z, and he's just making a joke about Zed's dead, but I don't know the reference. That was Sean saying that. Sean Cassell.
There, I'm just reading. I'm like, so much.
So
Yeah.
much going on. It's a lot of burrito talk in this chat here.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, how's everyone doing? What time is it?
Yeah, how are you doing? Where are you guys all tuning in from? Oh, it's from Pulp Fiction was that reference. That's a classic film. So, Claudia got it too. Y'all know the references. I should have known that. I remember the first time I watched.
I don't remember.
Did you watch Pulp Fiction?
I've seen it. Yeah.
just checking.
Who says it? Does the
Which character says it, you guys? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. He cooking, yes. I remember the first time I watched Pulp Fiction, I was just really sleepy, and I happened to fall asleep. Great film. It is not... You won't fall asleep watching it.
Great film. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I'm a sleepyhead, so that's genuinely what happened. And I asked my friend when I woke up, I was like, what happened in the story? And he described the plot to me, and I was like, you're lying. That didn't happen. You're making that up.
Says dead.
Bruce says it. Bruce Willis says it.
Bruce Willis. Oh.
Yeah, I was like, that didn't
that.
happen. Why are you lying to me? And then I go back and watch the film, and I was like, all the things that they described happened. This is the craziest film.
Yeah.
Raphael Sajan is tuning in from Paris.
Oh,
Bonjour.
bonjour. Bonjour, Raphaël. Comment ça va?
Claudia, thank you. Claudia and Sean are on it. Y'all are synced. Y'all know exactly the reference. Bruce Willis's character says that.
Incredible. What is your favorite Tarantino movie?
Ooh, that is such a good question. Death Proof.
Okay.
From the Grindhouse series. I just thought it did a really great job of portraying female friendships. I thought it was beautiful. I was like, that is exactly how me and my friends at least talk and play. And if we have you ever watched it?
No.
I'm
no.
not gonna ruin it for you, but it's got a pretty great ending
Okay.
as well.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, check it out. What's
Yeah.
yours?
My favorite one is Django.
Nice,
Unchained.
good reference.
I love that movie.
That's
So
a great
good.
one. I think I saw that opening day on like Christmas when it came out.
I don't remember
Linton
when it
says,
came out.
Guten Abend from Germany.
Gute Nacht.
Yes.
Gute Nacht, Linton.
Yes, Oliver Andrews knows. Oh, Death Proof is a great film. It is a great film. I didn't see the other feature in the Grindhouse series, though, Planet Terror. I need to go back and watch
Oh.
that one. Mm-hmm. Rose
Okay.
McGowan.
Okay.
Arby says, if you want to sleep, watch Pulp Fiction. Don't.
Sounds good. Yeah, take notes, guys.
I'm just asleep. I fell asleep during like Transformers too.
Oh,
That was like
that makes sense.
no. That was a great action film, and I
Really?
loved it. Oh, Claudia likes Reservoir Dogs. I can't
Res-
watch that one.
It's fun. It's
It's
one of
violent.
those. It is, but it's also kind of like I like how Tarantino uses the space in that movie where it's all like set in one room. It's all in one. There's tension and everything. It's a really like brilliant storytelling, and that's why I love that movie.
I hear
as
brilliant. I hear great things. I hear they're cutting things off in it, and I can't do that. I know Quentin Tarantino is known for violence and things
Ketchup.
like that.
He loves ketchup.
He loves it.
So much blood.
What was the other one with Brad Pitt? Well, he's
Oh,
on two with Brad Pitt.
the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That was good. I liked that one. Not my favorite, but I liked it.
I had no idea what it was about. I didn't know anything like the references of the movie, anything, because it was based on a real story, but it was changed a lot.
Oh, it was as if he was saying like, what if things
Yeah,
went this way?
yeah.
That's
And then after reading the story, and then I had to like
Oh,
kinda,
it's
like,
tragic.
revisit it too. Yeah.
tragic. Claudia says Titanic makes me sleepy. I've never finished it.
Oh man, Titanic is a very sleepy movie.
It's
I'm
good.
looking at this design, and I'm quite happy where I am.
Slow Mo Pro just said, "Damn, stepped away for a bit, and this is incredible." Absolutely.
Thank you, Lay. Yeah, just gonna like think about this letter E for a bit because it feels very, I don't know. I think what I don't like is this part here. Second. This part here. It's kind of like it doesn't quite work. I just want it to be like flow it better together, but also this straight line here doesn't quite fit because what I wanted to do have a similar slanted line. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna change it up a bit and have it also lean this way. So
Yeah.
it kind of like makes sense. Kind of like I guess it's like
Like a
it's a little dome. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a little tent, a little hill, a little house.
And structural,
So-
you all. Any other suggestions for his design, you guys?
Please, everyone, tell
Let us
me
know what you want to see.
everything.
Little razzle dazzle.
I may not listen to it.
We may take your suggestions, we may not, but we want them anyway.
I love when chats.
The chats. Let's get chatty.
Chats.
Joffrey says, "Loving the bee. Looks like a heart. Happy. It does look like a heart.
Oh yeah, look
Happy
at that.
Valentine's Day, you all.
Incredible.
Perfect for the Valentine's season. This one's for the lovers.
Oh yes, look at that. Look at that. It's kind of like
That's
this is an-
gorgeous.
This is an airline logo. It looks
That
like an airline.
totally is.
And then you have this the on the back of the plane, whatever.
Or like a nonprofit could totally. Look at that. That's so cool. We're starting airlines in here, people.
We're
Big
doing
business
everything today,
happening.
everything. Any airlines here?
Any
Any airlines in the chat?
Anyone starting an airline? Need a graphic designer for your airline?
Any pilots?
I'm assuming no.
Basically, kind of like just changing up the E. Okay, there you go. This is quite nice and
There you go.
it's a bit better.
I love, that's great how you use that pen tool to draw so that you have a structure to go off of what you're aiming for. It's really, this looks really good.
Thank you.
I love your style that you've developed as well. Like there's something that flows about it, but it's still sharp.
Yeah, that's what I like about it because it's kind of expressing my own emotions. I feel like it's just the world also in this in a way that it's very sharp, but also it wants to fit in. It wants things to work out, but it's also very emotional in a good way. I'm not really sure how to explain it, so that's why I'm not a public speaker.
Did you just describe yourself?
Maybe.
All right, we've got some suggestions. Sophie says, okay, wait, the B goes hard. We love the B. That's official. Mr. Slow-Mo Pro says, I would love to see if the top and the bottom of the O were more geometric and less rounded. Oh.
For sure.
I said, oh. I think it gives more contrast to the whole while matching the rest of the letter forms more. Great suggestion. We're taking it. We're taking it.
You got it.
You got it. On demand, just like that.
I got you. Yeah, actually, yeah, it does look a lot better too.
Robert Wennerberg says, hi, Jack, Gio, Courtney, Sean, Arby. He's just saying hi to everyone. Hello. What's up?
Hello.
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you.
Hello, everyone. Who's Jack? Who's Jack Watson?
He's overseeing us today.
I think I'm gonna have to like. Okay. I'm squinting. That means that I'm looking. Looking at the overall design and just trying to kind of.
Sometimes you gotta squint to see the different perspectives.
There are also like sayings where when you have to like look at your design from far away just to make sure that it all kind of fits in together.
You have to. You simply must. I'm gonna get into that in my next session about.
If we're looking at this overall, so I like zoomed out like all the way, and I'm also a bit far away from my screen. Looking at it, the E has a bit of a white space.
Mm-hmm. Here. A little more than the others, so maybe we want to balance out that space.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna do that here, I think.
And we're looking at that white frame, like the space that it's on. Is that, when you export it, is that something that will you expand your design to fill the entire white space, or are you gonna leave it centered and?
I think I'm just gonna leave it because this artboard doesn't really matter. I would say like it can be this way. It can be anyway. I'm just doing it this way because the word itself, Adobe, it feels the letters, they're not very stretchable vertically. Mm-hmm. If, for example, if it was letter K, for example, letter E can be stretched vertically really well. Like letter K, like this, and there you go. It still reads like letter K.
Yeah.
Letter E, same thing, kind of like if you go this way, it still reads like letter.
What letters don't stretch well?
There are a couple. I think the letter D, sometimes it tends to look like letter O, because now it looks like an O or like a U, or it gets a bit tricky. So you really need to emphasize like kind of like cut the bottom part here.
Oh, these are some great questions coming in too.
Oh, yeah?
Marcy wants to know, are we going to get to the Photoshop texture and effects? That's what the description says.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's hit it, Marcy.
We will get it in a moment once I'm done with this letter E.
Awesome.
But
we got about 12 minutes left.
Yeah. Just give me like 2 minutes.
Yes.
Everyone, please time me. 2 minutes.
I got you.
120 seconds.
And then Linton says, you two, how do you motivate yourself for work? I have quite a hard time to motivate myself since a few weeks, and it kind of holds me down. Really great question. How do you get motivated for your work?
I think it's also nice to listen to your own body too, like when you don't lie to yourself. For example, like just take a break, and if your body's saying like, okay, you don't want to work, then there's something about it that why you don't want to work. There's like, maybe you just need to take a small break, step back from your design and just like look around and, deal with basically what is more important other than design, because life is not just about design. It's also about friends, family, and it's many things.
I love that answer, and I couldn't agree more. I think as creatives sometimes, especially in our society, in American society, we get asked to produce, output. But as creatives, that's not how we work. And, if you're not motivated, I think, like Gio says, listen to your body, because a lot of the work actually is rest as a creative. Your brain is still processing things even when you're not actively doing something. So especially as an actor, there's some days where I just don't want to. and I'll
Yeah.
just sleep. I told you guys I'm a sleepyhead.
Oh, yeah,
but
there you go.
Sleep is very regenerative for me. And, you process things in your sleep. You dream while you sleep. And oftentimes, once I've listened to my body reluctantly and given myself rest, I do find myself in a more creative space and things click more. And I'm actually moving a lot quicker than I would have if I pushed myself to just produce. So that's one way. Like, listen to your body, motivate yourself. If you're not feeling it, I think that's a sign to just open yourself up to the world around you and listen for inspiration. You'll find it, and you truly have to trust yourself that as a creative, that's what your body is designed for, and you have to listen to it. And your brain, we don't know everything about our brains, right? So again, you really have to trust your own process.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't see lack of motivation as a bad thing around here. We think it's part of the process.
Not at all. It's a good thing, actually.
I think so too.
There's a reason you may be bored, or you may want to just, try something new.
Jack Watson says, yeah, I solve most of my design problems when I'm away from my desk. Taking a walk.
Yeah.
Get outside, run, move your body, like get some oxygen in it. Go to the beach if you have, or a near body of water. Water can be very inspiring as well. But otherwise, I think Adobe actually has a lot of little nooks and crannies that I can get inspired by if I'm not just feeling it, if it's not coming from me. I tend to look a lot at like Adobe stock, for instance. There's a lot of beautiful photography in there that I'll find and say, hey, like, I'd love to use this element, or, find something that I'll take for later. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with it, but I just start piecing together little things that inspire me. And again, at some point, I say, okay.
It's good to
Now I'm ready.
experiment, yeah.
And it's good to experiment. You never know. And remember to keep your editing process separate from, I think, the design process. I think there's a point in time where, you just need to, for lack of a better word, just kind of brain dump. Like, just get everything out there. Don't judge. Do not judge yourself. I know it's so hard, and they tell us this all the time, but do not judge your work. Have a separate space and time where you're going to go back and edit it and refine it, but let that creativity out.
Yeah, and that's why even at the beginning, I kind of just did a bit of a sketch, quick one, just to see, experimented quickly.
Exactly.
And then just see, okay, maybe.
That's actually, you know what? I love this example. Like, this is your first draft over here of the sketch.
Yeah.
And look at the results. And that's what I mean. Like, don't judge it. Like, just work on it and just, again, trust your process. What else are you all saying?
Hello, overset text. Oh, there's overset text.
Clever Devlin,
Hi,
you
Ram.
said, can you please tell my boss? I would love to tell your boss that, but I know we do have certain deadlines to meet. So again, that's where I rely on the Adobe tools to give me that little bit of push and motivation if I have a deadline that I do need to meet.
Hello, Paulina. Hi, how are you? Oh, so many friends here. Amazing.
I know. We've got 7
All right,
minutes.
guys, we gotta jump into.
We're gonna jump into Photoshop.
Photoshop. I have Photoshop open right
The
here.
holy grail of Adobe products.
I love Photoshop.
Photoshop intimidates me. Does it
Really?
intimidate anyone else out there, Photoshop, or are you all experts at Photoshop?
I love Photoshop so much.
That's the tool to know. That is the product people know Adobe for, Photoshop.
Even though it's not their.
Even though it's what?
They started with Illustrator.
They started with Illustrator.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. I
Photoshop
did not
came
know
in
that.
later.
Fun facts, y'all.
Yeah. Okay, what are we doing?
What
am I doing?
Texture
here?
and effects.
Texture and effects. What kind of textures? What I usually like to do is just keep it very simple. Oh yeah, we were gonna do a bit of a genfill, because I need to generate some gray paper textures.
Overset text asked, Gio, what is your favorite Photoshop tool?
Dude, my favorite Photoshop tool? Oh, there's so many of them. There's so many favorite Photoshop tools. I like blurring things out and then setting them to glow. Okay, we have, it's kind of like just grayish. Okay, hold on, let me try it again with, okay, let me do detailed gray texture, paper textures, collage, paper tiers. So we're just gonna generate some paper using the AI Generative Fill tool, which is just gonna create some textures for. Okay, look at that. There's a couple of these, so I do quite like the first one a bit more. And basically, what I'm gonna do is duplicate this and jump into camera raw, and kind of like just to quickly adjust how it looks and feels a bit. Yeah, I'm just kind of like making it look a bit more maybe like rugged or something.
Looks great.
Yeah, and then basically with that, if I kind of like set it to like, okay, hold on. What I could do, there's a way to like distort it, but let me save this first. And basically save it as Adobe.
Camera raw is goated.
So good. I'm gonna distort it a bit, displace it using this paper texture itself with Adobe, and then kind of like see, did it work? It worked a bit. You can kind of see the distortion. Let me try it a bit more. I think it's because my thing is like quite big too, and then kind of like here.
What are you all's favorite Adobe Photoshop tools?
What do you like to shop in Photoshop? Huh?
Ooh, texture speed runtime.
Okay.
That's what Joffrey said.
Yeah. The thing with this is also a bit. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to like work with textures, because with textures I specifically like to just experiment with it and then see what I can do with it as well, and then kind of like, maybe that's not what I want, maybe that's what I want. I'm
still amazed how this all started from a simple Adobe clean font. I'm just amazed at what we can create in these tools.
Yeah, you can do a lot of crazy stuff as well. Let me fill this with black, and then let me try with something else here. I'm gonna jump into filter gallery. Go reticulation, 25 density is fine, and then later on I'm just gonna do like 50 here, jump to posterize, and then do 3 levels for a bit. Does it quite work? No, it doesn't really work. Let me do black and white and see what I can do with this one. So I'm basically trying to like pull up a bit of these like just make it look a bit more rugged, a bit more textures. I love doing that. It's quite
we got
nice.
about 2 minutes. Let's see.
2 minutes.
2-minute warning. So it says Adobe overset text says Adobe should develop threshold 2. Linton says for real, we need threshold 2, or at least threshold the update.
Yeah, threshold is also an amazing tool that I love using. Ram uses it a lot. Overset text, he loves using threshold, and it's a really powerful tool that just makes your designs a bit more, like, it makes it look a bit more retro as well.
Nice. Retro is in, y'all. Robert says, I see all my work as a progress to a higher level with ups and downs, but nothing is so good as it cannot be better. That's a really good point. Thank you. I like that. I really appreciate that perspective. Joffrey says, I am a sucker for a bevel and embossed. Yes. All right, let's start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
This looks
so
great.
Again, my favorite tool. I love doing a bit of a Gaussian blur and then setting it to kind of like lighten a bit. So you can see it's a bit lighter now. And then let me just quickly apply some effects and then make it a bit more warmer as well. Increase the vibrance. And
all right, well,
once
thank
more.
you all. Looking good. In case we get cut off, we got 30 seconds. Thank you all for joining us. This has been fun, right? We made it.
Yeah.
You did it.
Wow. Okay.
You did great.
Yeah.
This looks so cool.
I It actually looks pretty cool looking from that screen. Like, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, the different perspectives help you
Yeah.
see it all.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we will be, I will be back at 11 in an hour.
And I will be up next at 10 a.m., so stay tuned.
There you go. Thank you so much, everyone.
We'll see you in a
We will
minute.
see you later. Bye.
And I'll see you all in 5.
Oh, I look great in the screen. This is amazing.
Welcome back to Adobe Live. We're right here in the San Francisco office for a full day of live streaming, and we're really just getting started with this. I'm here with Courtney Thomas, and I'm Lucas O'Keefe, and we do have an action-packed day, really just focusing on all manners of typography, social media content, and design to stand out and level up your content game. So just to share that schedule, and if you are joining us from Behance or from YouTube, I see you in the comments already. Go ahead and let us know where you're tuning in from, what you're excited to see, what you've seen already. I do see those flying through. Just for our schedule today, just to share, we just finished an awesome session. That was with Gio and Courtney, with all about creating custom type with texture. We're about to get into, which I am very excited for, and we're going to make that hour count, I think.
I think so.
With a title like this.
I think y'all are getting ready to learn some amazing things. So we'll just jump right in. So I'm an actress, and through my acting, I've discovered social media management.
Okay.
I thought pretty early on in my acting career, I was like, I'm going to age myself. Instagram was pretty new at the time when I started out. And I kept thinking, God, I think this is a wonderful tool to develop and reach an audience. And lo and behold, here we are all these years later.
And it became that, didn't it?
And that's exactly what it became. And then became, well, how do I maximize my reach, what I do have? And this wonderful tool, Adobe Express, came into my life. It was brand new again at the time. I used to actually be the social media manager for the Adobe Express account.
Oh, amazing.
Fun fact, it used to be called Adobe Spark.
Yes.
But it just kept developing, and we kept finding ways to make it more useful. So now it's called Adobe Express, and I still use it. I used to work here, but I told them in my interview, I was like, whether you guys hire me or not, I'm using this tool. So
that's awesome.
You guys can benefit from it or not.
Let us know in the comments, have you been around since the Spark days? I know I've been around since the Spark days.
Yes.
I love Express, just the word Express and how it fits so seamlessly into the workflow of all the Adobe tools you might be using.
It's really incredible. Like I was making videos. I'm always making videos, and just the other day I found another use case for Adobe Express. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
There's this theory, and I think it's a quote by Andy Warhol.
Okay.
In the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. And I think social media has made that come true. And I find that, and please tell us in the chat what creative work you do, but there's going to come a time where you're going to be featured on someone's social media page, some news article. It's coming, guys. Your day is coming if it has not already arrived. And I really want to make sure that those of you who are finding your moments, I want you to know how to best amplify it, how to tell a quick story on social media so people are not just happy for you, but they're excited and they want to share the news. That's what we do here. We want to spread the news. Social media tip number one, because this guy is an expert, you all. Like, I'm good. This guy is amazing.
We're both pumped for this. I
know.
think we're just gonna be chatting about our favorite thing all day long.
I'm such a social media nerd. Like, I can just go. So for my acting career, I was trained in theater. I do a lot of theater. I read my reviews. I know you're not supposed to, but I do. And if they're good, which they usually are, I try to share them. And this was something that I wanted to show you all. This was a short film that I made by the incredible actress, and this was her first short film that she ever directed, Tiffany Tennille. And it showed at the New York MoMA this summer.
Oh, amazing.
I know. And I was like, Mama, we made it to the MoMA. Look at that. And so I wanted to find a way to share this wonderful news and also encourage my friends in New York to get out and see it. Now, that you see on the left of the screen here, this was the final product here, what I came up with, right? But what was on the website originally, I have right here. And you see, Albion Rose, the name of the film, is the first thing that comes up. You've got this beautiful MoMA logo. You've got the title of the film right there, written and directed by Tiffany Tennille, right in the headline. But the first picture is of a different film. Superior, I'm assuming, is what it was called, right? And so typically when you want to share your news, you're probably just going to do a screenshot or a screen grab. And
guilty. Yeah.
We all do it. It's a wonderful tool to use, and you can upload that so easily into Adobe Express and do all kinds of things. So I'm gonna go back out here and I'm gonna use my phone.
Awesome.
Remember, Adobe Express, I use my phone, and again, for social media, I like to create on my phone since that's where most people tend to consume on the platforms that I use. I'm big on TikTok and Instagram. I think for Facebook and Twitter, this may be a little bit different, but I'll show you all how you can change sizes super easily and so that you can hit content velocity, especially if you're working for a brand and they need you to be posting across different channels and they want that information out fast.
I love it.
And at the same time, look no further than
I love
Adobe
content
Express.
velocity. You had me there. That is amazing.
You have to have content velocity. And I was just reading on your page, on your strategy for 2024, consistency.
Yes.
And that velocity helps with your consistency.
It really does. Fill those gaps, right?
Fill those gaps. I am such a stickler for, and you can see all my designs.
And this is your phone we're seeing
This
as well.
is my phone.
I love this.
I know, right?
It's a world of many screens.
We're in the future, y'all.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna just reverse engineer real quickly what I did with this particular. So let's go here. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna go from the process as I usually do it. So let's just type in SF MoMA.
I was in New York this summer. I should have. Oh my goodness.
I know. Well, now we're connected on
Yes.
social media, so we will never have this problem again. And when I have a film I keep saying SF MoMA because that's where we are.
Oh yes.
So you find the article, look it up. Great, good.
And hello, Alex in the chat.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Ava. Hello, Sean.
All right, so this is where we do it. And see, on this one, the photo's not even loading. And
Okay.
that's fine because we're not gonna use it, but this is exactly why I'm gonna move this so that you don't see that. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna screenshot. I'm not gonna wait for it to load. Time is of the essence in social media world, isn't it?
It's gotta be Express.
Gotta be Express. All right, and then let's see. We got the description here, so I thought that was important. Again, I think the thing about when you're sharing news on social media, you really gotta give people a quick snapshot
Yes.
of what it is that you're saying. I mean, our attention spans have become minute. I mean,
Mine has. I know that.
mine has too. And so it becomes about how can you express and share your news in a way that just in a flash, someone gets the picture. That is how people engage. That is it. That is the key here. All right.
And this is a story we're building out right here?
This is a story we are building out. I was getting ready to say it's beautiful because I can get real specific. And you know what? I'm going to start from the design that I already have so I don't have to look for the picture necessarily.
That is my go-to. I love having the designs already ready to go. Are you an organized template person? Are you an organized folder?
I do. And folders are a feature that's available on desktop. And I will show you all my folders. This is the new version. These are my prior versions. So if we go back here, let's see.
Let us know in the chat if you're watching. Are you organized? Do you lean on the disorganized side of things? I just sorted through my desktop while I was getting ready for this.
I love it.
I think I had 300 files on my desktop that I had to go ahead and just clear into a nice little folder. So that is a goal for me to work on.
I'll be honest, I did that too. But as you can see, or maybe you can't see it, but you're just on my phone right now. But once they tune back into the desktop, you'll be able to see my beautiful folders with all of my client work in it. It's great. Alrighty, so let's get into the editing. So let's see what else I did here. Oh, there you go. You can see all of the different screenshots that I took and the way that I'm getting ready to do this. So the first thing I'm gonna do, let's just duplicate this. And if you wanna change the size, let's go into here. And the resize button is this bottom right button here. And you can choose from all, they've got it preset for you, preloaded. You got your Instagram stories, Facebook, Snapchat. And it's great because we don't know what social media platform they're getting ready to come out with next. These change on a dime.
I love that the icons are there too, right? Because it makes it very clear what platform you're going to be using it for, what the pixel dimensions are, and what you need for it. Yeah, like I've been branching really into like email headers and things like that, and YouTube thumbnails, and just it's all there for you.
The headers, man, the headers, they're so great. I just became an Amazon influencer.
Oh, awesome.
And again, like social media has become pretty much the standard format. And so when I was setting up my online shop, they have a space for a banner. I was like, I have Adobe Express. This is gonna be easy. All right, so I duplicated it. We're still gonna keep it in the IG story frame. And I chose Instagram stories to promote this because there's a link You can always
Yes.
use the link option and all those beautiful features that are available inside of the Instagram stories, guys. Use those. They are there to help promote your page. If there is this is the tip, because people are going to tell you, do reels, make sure you use this, use that. Whatever is the newest feature on any given platform, that platform is trying to advertise that new feature. So if you are using that feature, they are going to therefore advertise you. They're going to amplify you. And I saw this happen when I was working at Adobe in particular. We remember IGTV?
Oh, how could I forget?
In the days before the TikTok was famous and before Reels, there was this thing called IGTV. And we at Adobe Express hopped on it right away. So I'm just going to delete these so we can start pretty much from scratch.
That is a throwback right there. That is an example of how you blink and time really does fly by, because
does.
IGTV, I think the last time I thought about that was probably 2020, 2021, maybe.
Oh, beautiful. So here's what I actually did. I had just taken a screenshot from my phone.
Okay.
And I had replaced the image on top of, and here's how I would move the image, the order button, and you just slide it, and you can change the order.
And just switch right through them.
There it is.
I love that it's a slider to be able to do that with the layers too.
Yeah, it's really helpful. The thing I love about Adobe Express is it's a very low barrier for entry. So there's not a lot of programming or clicking that you have to do and understanding shortcuts and keywords. Pretty much if you can see it, you can press it, and you can move it. It's that simple.
And also, like, if you've used the Instagram story, it's almost like the Instagram Stories editor is like taking some inspiration, because they added layers for that.
They did.
And it looks very similar to this. So
all of the tools are trying to get on each other's game. So let's pretend that, for instance, we're going to use the screenshot that I just took. Now, here we are. So we've got the Instagram story. We've got a picture of a frame of me and my lovely co-star / director, Tiffany Tennille. I'm going to change the background just in case some of it becomes visible.
okay.
All right. Now I'm going to import that screenshot that we took. Be done. Be done.
Linton has just said, I never actually realized that IGTV was replaced by Reels, but yes, they did really just loop everything into Reels, and they're adding greater lengths and durations for those videos that you can have. I think we're at 90 seconds right now.
Now we are.
Yeah.
And I know certain creators, especially on TikTok, they're able to make longer form videos now. And I just heard that, or I watched a video where someone said TikTok is going to now be promoting horizontal videos again.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that interesting that we're back there
They
again?
added carousels where you can tap through.
They're just becoming Instagram.
I saw the other day, Instagram was testing out adding carousels into the Reels feed, where some users were swiping through Reels, and full circle, because TikTok copied them, and now we're right back to
They're
it.
just chasing each other. All right, so now I'm adding the different elements in. You can add it as a collage, where it'll automatically, and using AI, it'll set the pictures up and you can start to, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna move them freely so that we have space to move freely as creatives. All right, so this is the piece that when I see someone just doing like a quick sloppy screenshot and you can't really read what's going on, or it's got too much information on it, I'm like, oh God, I wish they would have known about Adobe Express.
There goes my attention span.
There it
right?
goes. I'm
Yeah.
not reading all that. I think everyone has seen something where you're like, I'm not reading all that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the crop and shape tool, which if I were doing maybe a photo tool, there's different shapes that you can crop into, like a circle. You can move things around if you want to feature it like that. You can make it bigger. But we're just going to do a freeform crop, focusing in on, oh, this is great. I'm going to show you all exactly how this gets done. So, okay, so we've got this, right? So now I'm going to stretch this so it takes up the space. Now, I don't like that little bit of space at the top, because what's getting ready to happen is I've got the description here at the bottom should someone want to read more. If I were to just follow what I've been given, I think the photo is just a little too low for my liking.
Okay.
It's still, I was on your page, and I think you explained things so clearly that there is a zone, there's an ideal zone in which you want to place things, especially buttons.
Yes.
If you're gonna have people clicking through, make sure you have a CTA, tell people what to do. Don't let people assume. We're all casually scrolling. We're not thinking, our brains aren't fully on. So tell people, share this, like this, save it.
Yep.
or click through, buy this, reserve your tickets today, set a reminder. These are all CTAs that I think are very crucial as you continue to either grow your following or grow your engagement.
Yes. And I've seen it so often where, like you said, the zones matter. People will put that CTA, that link sticker, they'll put it in a spot you can't tap, or they'll put it in a spot where you accidentally hit the like button or the comment button. My dad is very new to Instagram, but he is fully embracing it and loving it.
I love it. That video of you hit
Yes,
350K and your dad did the upside down. That was so cute.
That was his idea, but he's constantly following all these accounts by accident, and he's saying, I'm not following these accounts. What's going on? And I said, it's because as you're swiping, you're hitting the follow button.
That's
or you're
what
hitting
happens.
the button. So
and you
space
have
is
to
important.
assume people on social media are not experts. Like
Right.
no one,
Yep.
like we've been in this for years, but that's not very common, right?
Right.
So you've really got to be mindful as you create of where everyone is at first. So here's what I tend to do. So I don't like the space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this element here, and I'm going to crop it, and also being mindful of margins. At the top of Instagram stories, I'll usually play music because it's fun. Or you've got icons,
Yes,
you've got
yep.
all kinds of business happening at the top of that Instagram stories.
Yes.
So you've got to make space. You don't want your information to be covered. Otherwise, again, you're gonna ruin that moment when that first impression on your content where someone's like, what is this? If it's hard to read, they're not going to read it, you guys. Plain and simple. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'm gonna crop this again, and I'm just gonna take the top because we wanna flex that this is MOBA.
Absolutely.
We wanna let people know we made it to the moment. Stretch that out, right? Now I'm gonna crop this, and I'm gonna get just the bottom right here. Albion Rose, boom. And again,
I love
there's
that.
so much beautiful space, and this is my own little neuroses, if you will. I'm very, very, there are different whites.
Okay.
Not all whites are created
Fair.
equal. So I just take the dropper tool, I'll go back out here, and I'll make
to get
sure
that
that
hex
this
code or
is
that
the
color code.
hex code and color code, and I'll match it to where,
Look
and I
at
love,
that.
because my finger is actually covering where the point is, so the circle is popping up to show me.
It's zooming in and really helping you lock in on where you want.
Exactly. Now it happens to be the same color, but as you all do this, I would highly encourage you all double check that you're matching your background with what you're placing on top of it, because you don't want it to look like you're kind of collaging this together. You want it to look clean.
Oh, it makes it seamless. Yeah.
It makes it seamless.
I love it.
All right, so I made that a little bit bigger, and actually I think for funsies today, I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, and I might be tempted maybe to move it over a little bit. I might put some fun business on the right there if I'm feeling it, maybe a fun GIF or something. I don't tend to like using GIFs in stories though.
I'm the same.
Look at
Yes.
that, because it blurs the image.
Yes, or it kind of dictates how long your story is going to be on screen. I find that, like, if I put a GIF in there, it's gonna be on for 5 seconds, and then my story might skip, and I don't want that. I want people to be able to share in and experience all the information I'm trying to share with them.
And as you see, I'm moving this up. You can see that I'm gonna just change the order.
Yes.
But you could also crop that further if you want to. There we go. And I'll just move that down a little bit. Nice and clean.
Oliver just said, so people have taken the poster idea that if something is hard to read, it'll be remembered, and they've applied that to social media posts. But Oliver is saying, no, if it's hard to read, I'm
not reading it. There's too much, because a poster, if you're looking at a poster, there's probably not a lot around to distract you.
Exactly.
People are on their phones. Social media is moving a mile a minute.
That's a
really.
huge distinction to make, right?
Did you know that people, I think on average, you can scroll, and people have measured it, where people are scrolling enough for the height of not the height of the Statue of Liberty. I think it's the length of going to the moon. How many miles?
No way. In a lifetime, in a day, I could do it in a day.
I think depending on the user, it could be a day, it could be a week, but that's how much people are scrolling, and that's how many distractions are available to us.
How many stretches of 19, 20 pixels can we do in a day of Reels or TikTok videos?
Awesome. And then I would just take this, and I'm gonna leave a little room at the bottom too, because just the zone of interest. Okay. So, and I don't like this. I want that little more breathing room in this guy. So I am going to make it a little bit smaller. But again, this is how you can manipulate your news articles.
Yeah.
Because, MoMA's website had a completely different picture on
Right.
here. And love that for that person.
Yeah,
and that
they have their own goals. They have their own purpose.
They have their own purpose, but then you have your own purpose in advertising what you're doing. So this is exactly the type of of edit that you can
Yes.
make off of a piece of news media. And we'll get into some.
And I love the collage feeling, to be honest. That has always been my favorite aspect of social media, right? I'm a sucker for vision boards and mood boards and plastering everything in there and just creating that goal and that setting.
I think social media is ultimately a very creative space, and that's what I was drawn to about it. It's a way to express yourself. All right, so we're about done here. I don't want to leave. You see how there's this little, like the scroll. I got a screenshot of the scroll.
Oh, yes, I always do
Now,
that.
again, I can crop it, but this, I also don't want to have the members and tickets because I think it's a little distracting. I like the color that there's green and there's green in the photo. So for that, I would be tempted to keep it. But in the event that there's anything on the screen or on your screenshot that you're like, this doesn't need to be here, or this pulls focus, here's what I like to do.
Ooh, let's see.
I go to the shapes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because cropping that out and not cutting out the rest of your heading would normally be difficult.
And you can't
right?
crop like this.
Yeah, like
So here's what you
staircase
can
crop.
do. You can search the shape. I tend to search for rectangles and circles. Boom. And I think for our purpose, this rounded rectangle is going to get the job done. Great. Like I said, let's hit that color dropper and let's match it.
I gotta start using that more. I love that.
I love this color dropper. You can find your hex numbers super easily, especially if you're trying to replicate your brand materials and your brand elements, and people need to know what color. There you go. Make that a little bit smaller, and you can extend it. And I'm just gonna cover that.
I love the option to extend in all directions too, right? And to stretch or
We're free.
make it
We're
taller.
Free.
I'm supposed to be a math teacher. I'm losing track of height and width here and length, but there we go.
We're doing art today, not math.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's exactly what I'll use to just clean it up a little bit. And then you can duplicate instead of having to go back through the whole same process of finding the shape. Duplicate, change
I love
that,
Yep.
rotate it right there, y'all. And again, this one would have been easier.
There goes the scroll bar.
There goes the scroll bar. Now we've got a clean, nice image. Now, if you're extra creative, oops, I moved it over, but that's fine because I can move this over too. But if you're extra creative, I think there's a lot of negative space in this design. So I would encourage you to use it. Make it fun, make it memorable. But I think especially that's gonna be the case too in Instagram. You've got a lot of story options. And here, as I'm designing, I'm thinking about the fact that I'm going to be linking this to the New York Moments page.
Yep.
And so I'm done with the design technically, but now I'm thinking about its function. Like, this is so important, you all. I cannot express this enough. You have to be mindful of the format and where you are going to post your designs. That is everything. You can have the most beautiful design, but if it's cut off, if it's a square, and you're trying to get a 3x4 on a square, it's not going to be communicated. Like, art is wonderful, creativity is wonderful, but communicating the message and the story in that is crucial, especially on social media.
I always say make it feel at home for the platform it's on, right? Exactly. And that can even be from TikTok to Reels. I know they have the same dimensions and they're both very much, video platforms that have copy each other endlessly, it seems.
Right.
But there really is a different type of communication from TikTok to Instagram Reels and back and forth. And
Completely different.
Those nuances are so important to know.
Well, in Reels, I learned this from the latest campaign that I worked on. Reels has so many different views that you have to be mindful of, depending on if someone's watching it in their feed, if they're discovering it from your page, or there's like a third one where, you've got the like buttons and you've got all of your stats of saves and shares, and then you've got the caption at the bottom. And again, what I love about Adobe Express is you can easily pop it in and preview it. And if you see there's anything's being covered, you can just come right back over here, change it quickly. And this is much better than
post it and hope it works out for the best.
I'm hoping it works out. Or if you are working with a designer and their deliverables.
Oh, yes.
Like if they've got a bunch of clients and you need to go back with a correction, it's going to take them time. But if you've got your tools in your hand where you can make these quick edits, this is exactly what this tool was made for. Quick content creation.
And Robert has said in the chat, it's always the mistakes we see first, or sometimes it's
true.
Not us with, we've been looking at the design constantly, so it takes like a fresh pair of eyes to look at it and say, hey, there's a mistake there. So I love what you said about being able to switch back and forth to preview to see how it's going to look and say, you know what, something's not right here. Let me go back and make a quick change.
Make a quick change. You got to make these quick changes, you all. So that's how I like to do my news. But let's say, for instance, I did want to post this on portrait. I'm probably a portrait. If I wanted to post it on the feed.
Yes.
And I call it portrait size, but it is that 3x4.
Yes.
Square. So here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing about it. When choosing your size of what you want to do. So let's duplicate our design here. Oh, this was my old design. Let's go to the new one.
I love that you're doing this all on your phone too. I'm a desktop person.
I understand why though. There's a little more you can get into on the desktop with Adobe Express.
Some people though love mobile, and it also can suit so many lifestyles of just like, I need to be on the go. I need to be on the fly designing this, and that's when I do pull out my phone, and I love to be able to have the option.
Yeah, and I like using the phone. So as you can see, I just resized it. I like using my phone so I can, again, view it the way that my customer, my audience is going to see it. Now, again, I call it portrait size because it is called portrait size. But I tend to go for Instagram portrait size versus square.
Okay.
Technically on Instagram, portrait size is supposed to get you more engagement because it takes up more of the feed on someone's phone. And so they're less likely to be distracted and they're more likely to finish consuming whatever is in front of them.
Right, because if it's square, like if I post a square, the person who's next on the feed might start showing up already. I don't just get that full frame of view, that full, I like to say real estate.
Yes, it is real estate.
People's attention in their feed, right?
It is. You have to be mindful of the real estate that you're taking up. So again, you don't have to decide fast and hard. You can actually make both super quickly. And if you're delivering this for a client, you can give them the option. Because the great thing about Square is that it does fit across multiple platforms very easily. So you don't have to do a constant resize and custom per platform. So I think there's still merit in both. And I think also the difference with Square and Portrait in particular is the way it ends up being framed on your actual Instagram feed.
Yes, so on your grid.
On your
right?
grid,
yes,
exactly.
Like with a square, you know it's going to be that square on your grid.
That whole square is going to be seen on the grid. Whereas portrait, you got to be mindful of making sure that your most pertinent information, that if someone comes to your page and they're just trying to discover more about you in a quick snapshot, again, it's quick, you got to make sure that they can see all of the information.
And as Jacob just said, it's free real estate. And like you opened this with saying how powerful social media is. It's giving us that free real estate, that place to share our message, to share our creativity, to share our business or brand. And I'm loving how many different ways and different channels we can do that with.
It's huge. The impact of social media is so huge, and it's really opened up a lot of doors and gateways for people that, as a Black actress in particular, they always tell us, like, the numbers aren't there, the numbers aren't there. And what attracted me to social media was the numbers are right there. My follower count is right there. My like count is right there. So there are people who like this. So as you can see, I'm just reformatting this to fit.
I love that.
You know what? And I would actually, because this worked better in Instagram story mode, and this I'm feeling like And
I love how easy it is to move them around now. And I like how you put in the work to make them all their own element, right? Because now look at all the different options you have to
There's
just quickly
a lot of
drag
different
things
options.
around.
And this is a cool way to kind of change up when you're posting across different platforms. Nothing is more boring, you guys, than posting the exact same thing across the different platforms. Because I would assume if you're on different platforms, it's for different reasons. Some are more video-based, some are more text-based. So it's nice to give a little variety to your audience members who maybe they like Twitter a little bit more. Maybe they're more into Facebook. That's totally fine. But this...
And variety for you and your audience, right? Like, I know you mentioned for your audience, but I love variety for myself as a content creator,
Me too.
right? Like, to be able to switch things up just keeps me refreshed, keeps me rejuvenated to just keep making new content.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do with this. You see how I took out the whole article headline? Because realistically, if I were to post this is all I want my people to know. And you know what? I'm getting creative, you all. It's happening. It's happening. I actually want to take this off. What's on, because I think it's cool in Instagram stories to give people the visual of what they will see should they visit your link. I think that's a really smart idea. But I think in the feed, again, I want as little words as possible, and I want people to be able to pick up in a quick flash what is going on.
Especially knowing that the feed, you'll be sharing a little bit more than a story, right? A story at that full frame of view. Someone's going to be focused on what you post. With the feed, like we said, you're just a scroll away from someone being on to the next post.
Exactly, and I'm so tempted. I love this description. I really do. But again, I don't think everyone's going to read that in the feed. I really don't. I think this is the type of information that belongs in the caption.
And that's what's great. You can pair that with the caption, right?
Exactly. So again, being mindful of the format that this is going to end up in, where really and truly all you need is the title of the film. I think I'm going to expand this a little bit. I don't want to cut off the beautiful frame, but make it a little bit bigger. Make the photo. Oh, I wanted to ask you, what's your thought with text on photos these days? Because there was a time, remember, when Facebook, or now Meta, would deprioritize your content if it's filled with language, right?
Right.
What is your take on that today?
I personally love it. I think the ability to pack not just the visual of an image, but also the visual of someone who wants to scan text. And I think it's very important, like you said, to not overload with text, right? And I think what you have here with the headline is perfect. But yes, I've seen also that if you look at what Instagram scans for, like its alt text that it puts in there, you can see that it picks up on the words.
It does.
Like, I've made a post about like content ideas, and the text on screen, I make a lot of infographics, says content ideas. And someone can search on the explore page, and I've put no hashtags about content ideas, and they can search content ideas, and it will show up because of the text on screen. So I think it does unlock some other opportunities as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's another strategy tip that I wanted to get into. So glad that you mentioned that about text. SEO.
Yes.
Search engine optimization is a very big thing on social media. Those search bars are very useful. And so I'm getting into this new one, right? So this is what I did for a client. And don't forget, we've got video in Adobe Express.
Oh, I love that.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm going to show you guys the original article. And there wasn't a lot to work with originally. Okay. So here was the original article. Or maybe this one, was this the one? I think this one is a later one. But it looked pretty much like this. Like, it was just a bunch of text, and I was like,
You wanted to be visual.
I wanted it to be visual. And I think when you're thinking about your news that you want to share, I do encourage you all to discover, or at least think about, if there's a way to use video in it.
Yes.
There's no denying Reels are being promoted, TikToks are being promoted. Every platform is trying to get more into videos and visuals in that way. So try to think of a way. I don't think it's Bible. I don't think you have to make everything a reel.
Right.
Run if someone's telling you that. I think that there is value in having a variety of content on your pages, whether it be static images, carousels, reels, fun, interactive things you can do in stories. These are the things that make a page fun and engaging, and that will lead to growth.
I call them those different playgrounds. Give people all the different playgrounds to hang out in, right?
I love that.
And some people are going to prefer video. Some people aren't. I actually personally love reading. I love being able to scan and look at what I can extract by just scanning and then going in and watching the video. But I like to be able to do that at my own pace.
I do want to find the original article, because I think there was a picture that I was referenced. Or you know what it was? Here we go. I typed in arena.
And it is very interesting to see how, I like how you said, don't listen to people just saying it has to be reels, it has to be video. No. And it's clear that that's not the case, and how TikTok is even thrown in like carousels and photos, and the option to be able to tap through images too.
I love that.
It's all there. Right?
My nephew, my 11-year-old nephew, he was like, look at my TikTok. And I was like, carousels? He was like, you can do that now? He was like, yeah.
Just memes to tap through again and again and again.
Here we go. So, for instance, I can't pull it up because it was from a little bit ago, but there was an image of these two on the article. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be much more engaging if there was a video of them in action?
Yes.
And this brand, we had already collected a lot of content that we were using, and I was just, again, finding ways to mix it up, to add a little variety. So I took the negative space, and I did the exact same process where I took a screenshot, cropped it, and if you can see, originally this is what the video looked
Okay.
like. I made it was shot horizontally. Of course, I stretched it out so that it would be Instagram stories. And I was just trying to figure out like where in the negative space can I add this? This felt a little off balance to me. How to balance? This felt off balance.
Very important in this circumstance in particular.
Exactly. The bottom, it was going to be covered with text, you all. Not an option. And in general, just I would say stay away from the bottom. Like keep that space negative because Instagram is going to fill that with the other information like captions.
Or the reply option,
all of the things. Just avoid the bottom. So this is where I landed on. I'm still not in love with it, but at least we can kind of get it out there. And I love the video option. It's still you can only do 15 seconds in Adobe Express.
Okay.
But realistically, I mean,
do you need too much more?
I was going to say, like, if you need a lot more, I really want you to consider why. Like, why is that so important? And it better be pretty amazing if you're going over 15 seconds.
And I'd love to hear in the comments, what is your ideal, like, social media video length? Because I know I'm 15 seconds or less as well. If it gets into the 1 minute, 45-second territory, I'm probably swiping on, no matter how good the video is.
No matter what's going on. So when I posted this, again, I'm teaching you all things that I had to learn the hard way. I wasn't aware that Reels was going to cut off this top portion. It broke my heart. Oh my God. And this, again, was a screenshot that I got off of the website.
Yep.
So what I would do to change that now, I would actually take this shape, duplicate it. Again, I just went to the shape tool and the plus sign. I'm going to cover this up. And I would just extend the space here.
Oh, very nice.
Exactly. And there you go. Which again, I think in this particular format, it looks excessive to have that much space. But when you actually upload it onto Reels,
into the
you're going to be so grateful you have that space. You're going to just be so grateful. And
let it breathe.
Let it breathe. All right. How much time do we have? Oh, this goes by so quickly.
It does.
And I thought of another social media tip. This is advice about any advice that you may get. Nothing is so hard and fast that everything is true. You got to test things out and see what works for you.
Absolutely.
I rhymed that. Did you hear that?
We need a quote of that in the chat.
I know. Nothing is so hard and true. Like, it's just everything that I think we're telling you and everything that I want to express to you all, it's from a learned experience from the pages that I have run. In general, I believe that social media exists in a sphere where the truth exists on all sides, and it's just from what side of the internet you're witnessing it. And so I would love if you guys have any cool tips that you all know from your experiences, share those. That is how this industry works. We're just sharing tips and saying, hey, this is what worked for me. This is what I'm seeing people are engaging with. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, throw it out and try something else. Okay. So many tips. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to get into the SEO tips, and we're going to go back to, let's go to this example. So it's Black History Month as well, and you can see this beautiful lady here. Her name is Julia Collins. She's one of my clients, and she is the first Black person, not Black woman, Black person to have a company or a venture-led company, venture capital, that has been valued at over $1 billion.
Amazing.
Or she's what you call a unicorn. So she found me. We're just thick as thieves. I love her so. And she had a lot of news articles coming out, as you can see in my chat here, where we just needed to promote it. We just needed to put it out there that she was making moves and people were seeing her. She was in Forbes like 4 times. I mean,
that's amazing.
Yeah, she's really incredible. And even more incredible, she sold her latest company, Moonshot Snacks, to Patagonia Provisions.
Wow.
And it was their first acquisition in 10 years. This happened last year in March of 2023. She's incredible. And so I had a lot of fun discovering how to promote her and her brand in particular. There's a great vertical right now.
I just need to shout out all the amazing options we're seeing just as you scroll your designs.
I'm
loving the variety. This is so amazing.
I use this thing all the time. But there was one particular article this is the one, the Refinery 29 article. And this was before, you see I have like 5 different things here.
Oh, yes.
You can technically just do that all in one.
Oh, multiple pages, have it all in one. Yes.
Yeah, that's a newer feature because this was from maybe a couple of years ago. But I want to show you again, I did a very similar process of screenshots, screen grabs. And instead, I wanted to make a carousel for
Okay.
this one. I didn't have a video version of this, so I said, let me make a carousel. And instead, I think you have I think there's two options you can do when you're sharing news online.
Okay.
You can take screen grabs of the words as they have been written, and I'll show you that example. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm gonna just combine all of this. So you can do the word, and sometimes there's like great little grab quotes like that they've already done for you. But I think it's a little more readable if you take a pull quote and you just type it in and use one of the fonts that are available to you in Adobe Express. And that's super readable as well.
Yes.
So here's what I did. I wish there was a way to import all 5 of these now into the same document, but here's what I'm gonna do instead and show you all. As you can see, I added a little design onto each of the screen grabs that I did that I wanted people to swipe through and read. And I also made sure to add the logo, you guys.
Right.
Make sure you're adding the logo.
And just little things like that really do lock it into the brand that you're promoting.
And it
that you're
elevates
with.
it.
Yes,
it really
does.
elevates the content. Because again, this is thought leadership that we were getting into with her. So having things like her brand or a brand and logo just gave her that little bit of extra professional polish that, again, in a snapshot, people are making these judgments and deciding, do I like this? Do I want to read more? Do I want to share this? These are the things that you can add and the elements that you can create. So here's what I did to make that. I think I just used the crop tool, honestly. The crop tool is, I think, the most powerful tool.
And I love all the different shapes for it too, like you were going through.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? I know you said you use freeform quite a bit. Do you have a favorite of the shapes?
I like the heart.
Yeah, oh, I haven't used that one yet.
I'm such a lover girl. I like
haven't
the
used that one.
hearts. I like the hearts and the stars. If it'll fit. If it doesn't, I have to acquiesce. But
for the right image.
exactly. So let's say we wanted to just switch up this design a little bit. And as you can see, I've just collaged all of this. I'm selecting all of the different images. So I'm going to duplicate this because it's beautiful.
And with that dropper tool, I love how like it all just blends perfectly.
It blends beautifully. And this is the Cracker Company Moonshot Snacks. You can see the boxes. That's Julia Collins, the Black history in the making right there. And that's her son Mosi, who inspired her to make the Cracker Company because the wheat is farmed using regenerative agriculture. So it's putting carbon back into the soil and making it more fertile and rich and nutrient rich in particular. Exactly. And so it's actually regenerating our earth, which we need.
I'm a former geography teacher, and teaching about sustainability is so important. If I ever go back into the classroom, I now have that example.
It's all the rage with the kids. The kids are all about sustainability, and you can see it. I'm noticing a lot of refillable options are coming up in brands and products. I saw a perfume or a cologne that was being advertised as a refillable, and I was like, oh, this is happening. We're doing this. So yeah, all I did was extend it here, create, and I could have done it here. I could have done it here. I just decided over here. And I think there's a little bit of, I want it just a little cleaner here. There we go. Great. So if I wanted to redesign this, I just move these options over.
And will you ever duplicate a page and be able to switch back and forth and be able to look at the two you're working with?
That's why I like desktop and my phone being open at the same time so that I can pull those options in.
I love it.
So I want to find the quote, but I'll just type it in for instance. And again, if I were to do this, I would take the border off because I've taken the border and remixed it. And these are things that I don't think that the brand like Refinery 29, I don't think they would be terribly offended if they saw me remixing everything that they've already approved, right?
And it's promotion. Their name's in it, right?
I've used their logo.
That's what social media is about, sharing.
It is about sharing. Did you want me to share? So I would just take that off. There we go. Again, clean that up just a little bit more.
That was very clean.
Right? But yeah, she made this Cracker Company because she wanted to make something that her son that would make the earth a better place for her son who was growing into it. All right. So I would keep that there, and then now that we've got this multiple page option, I want to center this a little bit more. There we go.
And I love the lines that help you center it.
We were talking about this, the guidelines in the last live, that this is what it's good for, because I'm not a designer. I am a creative, but I'm not a designer.
That's the same here.
Right? And so I do need a little help. And I think Express is particularly a great tool for non-designers because the barrier for entry is so low.
It really
You
is.
do not have to know how to program anything. You just need to know how to tap and hit a plus button.
Yeah.
That is it. Jack said so many social media tips in this stream. And you know what? We've got 10 more minutes. I'm going to give you one that I just learned. So let's say that I was going to promote this article on Instagram today, which I think this would be the perfect month to be promoting. We asked 5 Black moms what it's like to run a business. Huge. Black History Month is a time where people really try to support Black businesses, right? So these are the key words and search words that I'm already going to start to say, okay, I think this is what people are going to tap into.
Yeah. What will people be searching in the search bar?
What are people
looking for?
And you know how you can find out what people are searching in the search bar?
How's that?
You can just go to the search bar. That's my best friend. I just edited that
Oh,
video
and
for her.
yes.
All right. So just go to the search bar. Let's just look up Black history. Boom. Those are your words, guys.
Those top searches right
Those
there.
are the top searches.
Oh, I love that.
This is what you can put into your actual content,
Yes.
like the picture, what I was just making, the graphic. You can put these search words in if they're relevant.
Yep.
And Instagram, TikTok, they'll pick up on it and they'll promote your.
It'll catalog your content as being about this. Yeah,
Boom.
I love that.
Boom.
Captions, even hashtags can, if it works. I love how you said if it's relevant and if it works for your content.
Then make it work.
I think a lot of people are tempted to be like, I'm just gonna spam any topic just because I think it's really relevant.
You gotta be mindful. I know you all are brilliant and inspired individuals, but there's a world happening outside of your mind. And if you want to have an impact on that world, it's important to listen. It's important to see what other people are interested in and talking about.
really is.
So again, I'm looking up Black business, right? So Black owned business. That's probably something I would end up putting in the caption. That'll also help SEO and AI pick that up and amplify it for me. Support Black business. I mean, these are also probably good hashtags, which leads me to another tip, you guys.
Everyone loves to hear about hashtags.
Listen, hashtags are not dead. I don't care what anyone tells you. That hashtags are not dead. TikTok, I'm still figuring out the value of hashtags in particular, but
It is different. It's different.
It's a different beast, and I'm still learning myself. But I think it would be wise to take these search engine optimized words, add a hashtag on top, and let's see how many posts are in there. So Black business has 6.6 million posts underneath it. Black business women has 945K. We can really see all the results here. Here's my tip, you guys. If you are trying to promote something, or if you're trying to promote your pages for growth and discovery in particular, put hashtags on your page or on your posts that have between 5,000 and 500,000 posts underneath it. Because while Black business has 6.6 million for an account, and my client, she's at 5K now, her stuff's gonna drown in a pool of 6.6 million posts. If you're starting out on your social media channels, millions, someone that has a followers count of your size, like that 350K, I think I would advise you to do a mix of hashtags for discoverability.
Large and small.
Large and small, because I think at that point you're more likely to float to the top because you have more followers that will engage and you'll compete better in those posts. But for you all who may have small businesses, I heard Black 20 times under 2 minutes. Black. It's Black History Month, guys. Happy Black History Month. I think it's best, and I've seen how your content is more likely to float to the top if you are using hashtags within those particular numbers.
And I love how you pointed that out, because I think people are going to be tempted to go with the biggest hashtag, right?
That's what you want, right?
I want to go with the most popular one. But you're right. It's so difficult to, I'm going to use the word compete or stand out when the hashtag is just so overcrowded.
It's so overcrowded and no one's going to see your content. And I think it's more valuable to have maybe 100 people see your content and get 100 impressions than it is to just sink in a pool and end up with maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 impressions versus, because no one, things, everyone's populating it. So those are the less crowded hashtags.
And Deborah has just said this is very useful as a business owner trying to understand how to leverage socials.
Yes, it's for you.
Business owners wear so many hats as is, right?
Exactly.
And that's why I love Adobe Express, because again, like we said, you don't have to be a full-fledged designer to be able to do this. It makes social media more accessible. It gives you the starting point of what to create and how it could look, right?
It really does. I was just looking up my projects.
And while you do that, I'm just going to share the schedule for the rest of the day.
Please
Because we
do.
do have an action-packed day today. So this is Maximizing Your Content with Courtney Thomas and myself, Lucas O'Keefe. Coming up right after this, we're going to get Gio back on here, and I'll be sticking around. I think I'm on here for the next little while.
Yes.
And we're going to be learning how to animate the typography that he created with you.
Oh, yes.
Which I am super excited to see.
Just wait till you see it.
I
It's
saw
so
him
cool.
creating it, and I was just like, I want to learn how he's going to animate this, and I'm so excited to
It's
see
so
his design.
cool. I'm just amazed how we started and where we ended up.
Right. And then we're finishing out the day where you'll be hosting me, and we'll be looking at just some ways to use Adobe Firefly and Adobe Express to really develop your brand and have some fun with that.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do a poll quote very quickly with our last few minutes that we have here. I think someone asked, I love it. Thank you for sharing my website, Jack. Let's see. Love this. This is very useful. I love it. Is there any difference between social media and AI than it coming to has impact on the mankind?
I think social media and AI are just going to become blending together more and
think
more.
they're continuing
and
to.
you mentioned how AI is really just being used to even search for these keywords in the content.
Exactly.
And there's so many things being scanned in your content, whether it is the visuals, whether it is the text and the words and your caption. So I think they're really just becoming one and the same.
They really are.
Big wide world of social media.
I love it. Oh, here we go. I have the article open, you guys. I'm just going to pull a quote from here. Let's see. And this was an article that featured so many different people that, again, you may end up in an article where it's like a list of these are the top 20 places. And for your audience, go ahead and just center yourself. That's the
Yes.
place to do it. Oliver Andrews.
And do we want to see this on your desktop?
No.
No, we just got the article.
We're good on
Okay.
mobile. I
We're
love
good.
mobile, you guys. I just love mobile. So let's say becoming Mosie's mom, and pulling the quote from the article, was the genesis for Moonshot. So let's just do that. And you know what? Are you a typography fan?
Am I?
Yeah.
I'm becoming one. I'm discovering the whole world of typography.
Help me
and how
pick
amazing it is.
Help me pick a
Oh,
font.
Yes.
You know what? There is a matching tool, I know,
Right.
in one of the Adobe Creative Suites. But in the meantime, help me pick a font that matches.
And there are some awesome recommendations too.
Oh, yes, of course there are. Oh, my goodness. This is just the best tool, you guys. All right, so we're going to add text. And she's saying, you can copy and paste this in, but since I'm going from desktop to here, becoming Mosie's mom was the genesis. Oops.
I'm impressed you made it that far without a typo, because I would have had 7. When I type on my iPhone, I am just typo city.
I've been doing this a long time, you guys. Great. And as Lucas mentioned, here are some recommendations for fonts. Again, AI tools, amazing. This is great. Takes all of the work out for
This
you.
will be a good place to wrap up, to see this awesome. I love seeing the different recommendations. Like I said, there are so many fonts out there.
There are so many
And to
fonts. Like
really
you
just
can
make
match
it
the fonts, I would
send
say,
your
with
message.
what's happening here. But I think this one's kind of fun because we're mentioning her kid, and it looks like fun, like handwriting.
Oh, I like that one.
I
yeah.
like that too. Look at that. Change the
That is
color
very great.
up. I like black just to be bold. I said black again. And then, spacing.
Oh,
This
yes.
is huge. Spacing, the line spacing, you can make it come together a little bit more. You can spread out the letters, and have it take up a little bit more of the page.
And Jack is sharing Retype in Illustrator as one of those tools that we mentioned.
Thank
There we go.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're the Adobe Express crew here.
Exactly.
So I love how we have everyone sharing the different tools out there.
And I know I said avoid the bottom, you guys. Again, hard and fast rules are never so true that you can't undo them. But I think a corner is a really good place to put a logo. It doesn't necessarily have to be front and center unless that's what you're promoting that day. But yeah, and then We could go on. I know we've got like 30 seconds left, but this is just the beginning, you all.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us.
And we'll be back. I know for our session, we love talking social media. We can
tell you
talk
more.
social media all day. So we'll definitely be sharing more social media tips. You can see the schedule there. So hang tight for Gio and I to continue on with animating his design from earlier. And we'll be hanging out all day here on Adobe Live.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Welcome back to Adobe Live right here in San Francisco. I'm Lucas O'Keefe, and I'm joined with Gio as we're continuing our action-packed day of live streaming. This next session being custom animated typography with the amazing work you designed in an earlier session. You're going to be using the same.
Yeah. We'll continue from the same session where I left off and like what I started with. Basically, as I started prepping this file to animate, and we're going to be using that. We're going to animate it this towards this.
Amazing. So it's going to turn into that?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
We gotta like go through that, and that's why I kind of like designed it here. It's nice to see designed piece on the left because I know where I'm gonna go, like the final result, so I can see it. And yeah, so it's gonna be pretty simple, I would say. I mean, not simple, but it's going to be exciting.
I love the idea of transformation, and I have to admit, I looked at a lot of your content, and
Really?
I'm a huge anime fan, Attack on Titan in particular, and I love your work
So good.
on creating the transformation of like the Titans, and so I'm excited
My
to see
favorite
this.
project yet.
Yes.
That's my favorite project.
I love it. So.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is basically prep the file. Even though we did prep this design here, I'm going to have to...
And hello,
Link
Betsy. Hey, Alyssa. Thanks for tuning in from the chat, everybody. Let us know where you're joining from.
Hello, Rob. And Alisa. Hi, Alisa. How are you? Some friends, familiar names here.
Awesome.
Amazing. So I'm just going to do 19 by 80, and it's going to delete these because we don't need that anymore.
Were those like references you had beforehand from the earlier session?
Yeah.
And the one you just deleted, was that a sketch you did before designing the finished piece?
Yeah, so while I was designing, so I basically typed in Adobe with the Adobe Clean font, their own font, and I wanted to kind of like see what I was going with. So to go from here to the right one, I didn't really know what I was going for. And then I just had to sketch it out and like, okay, I can see the D is going to be looking kind of like this a bit, and then the O, and then the B. And using this image as a reference, my own sketch, this is what we have on the right side. So that's what we got. And now I'm gonna like prep the file, just delete the unnecessary shapes. So we have this as our main file, which has all the anchor points. I'm just gonna actually delete that one extra.
And I heard you earlier, you added these anchor points because you had the animation in mind. Is that why? Like, because we know where we're going with this project?
Yeah. So I didn't have to redo this again, and I kind of like got the two birds with one stone. I think that's the saying.
Yes, I use that one often. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. That's basically what I was going for. And then I'm gonna have this piece here. I'll just make it a bit smaller.
Is that a process you've always had, or have you had the process of like having to do it twice all the time for a while before you started doing it this way?
Yeah, I wouldn't like. This is my first time doing it this way.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I just like before coming in here, I was thinking in my head like, okay, what kind of process can I do to make it a lot faster? Because time constrained, we don't have much time, and I have to do a lot.
Yes.
On the go. Plus like chatting. Hello, Miranda and Liz.
Yes, you have
Hi
many
guys.
friends
How's it
showing
going?
up.
So many friends. So I'm basically kind of in my head prepared it, but in the past I would just jump straight into After Effects.
Oh,
Do it
very cool.
directly all there.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah. But this time, since I had to like create it in Illustrator first, I thought, okay, what if I do it all here, and then in After Effects, it's gonna be
People are
slightly easier.
to your 2 birds with 1 stone. Please not the birds, Gio.
Liz is an amazing painter, birds painter.
Oh, amazing.
As you can see, her name is I
paint
Paint
Burbs.
Burbs. Yeah, Burbs. What are we doing? Okay, the text. I'm just naming my layers.
Yes.
Please name your layers, guys. Name your layers.
I need to do that in all aspects of life. I need to have my folders organized. I need to have everything. When I pop into some of my files later today in the next session, I'm gonna be revealing my disorganization. So I'm learning how to organize things from this.
Yeah, it's honestly, it saves so much time later on as well. And it's like it's a very time-saving process. So there you go. We have this file from Illustrator, and basically what I'm gonna do is create shapes from this, and then get rid of these. Thank you. Actually, I'll save, but I'm gonna hide it.
And are they overlapping as part of the transformation you're going to be doing?
This is just a reference I have. So I'm gonna be working with this specifically,
Okay.
and that's it. It's gonna be like, this is my point of the starting point, and then the final one should look like this.
Amazing.
So we're gonna jump right into it, not wasting any time. I'm gonna lock this layer at the bottom.
Hello, Paulina. Hello,
Paulina.
Linton.
Hello, welcome back, friends. So nice to see you guys here. I am excited to show this process here. So I'm just kind of like sizing it and making sure that the composition-wise just looks nicer.
Nice.
You know, gonna go 30 FPS is fine. 10 seconds is fine. Not real preference. And then from here, I'm just gonna but trace all the path of every letter. So we have all our keyframes here set up. Go to the first second.
Every single letter.
Yeah.
What's the most letters you've done a project for? Like I know we have, let me count here. We got 5 for Adobe. I feel like I should have known that.
Oh.
What's the most letters you've had to do this with?
There was a really good project in 2022 that I worked with Armin from Under Consideration for Brand New.
Okay.
It's a conference that happens in the US every year. And he wanted me to do Brand New Conference 2022. All of that, all in one place.
Even just the word conference was
It took me 2 weeks nonstop just trying to nail it all down. Actually, guys, I have a small mistake here because the letter A here, as you can see, the Adobe this part is on the left side, but I split it on the right side. So
interesting.
I'm gonna change it a bit. So we're gonna kind of like.
So you're taking the one that's on the left and you're gonna swap it to the right or slide it?
Yeah, exactly.
Very
So
cool.
I'm basically gonna delete these anchor points here because I don't need them anymore. And then what happened? Okay, hold on. Let me think for a second. Okay, hold on. Merge it back.
While you do that, I'll chat with the comments. What is the most, I guess, ambitious project you've had to do? Anybody in the chat? I know, Brand New Conference 2020, you said?
2022.
That is a lot. What is your most ambitious project that you've had to take on or you've taken on? I'd love to hear. I'm sure there's a lot of creatives with good stories in the chat.
Yeah. What about you, Lucas? Have you done anything? What is your ambitious project?
Yeah. So I do social media content.
Okay.
And the way I like to organize my content is almost like write an ebook of my content. Because most of the way I share my information is like infographics and whatnot. Yeah. So what I did was, rather than create everything every single day, I spent a week creating 50 posts that I could turn into kind of like a textbook. I'm a former elementary school teacher.
Okay.
So the textbook style just speaks to me. And being able to have all that content, it took a long time. It was a big, ambitious project, but now I have the content to recycle again and again and again endlessly.
That's very cool. I did watch a couple of your videos on your reels, and you're very articulate, and you can explain it really well as well.
Oh, so thank you very much.
Really enjoyed watching those.
And while we were chatting, you switched them. That's amazing.
Yeah. Just like a quick switch on the A part because it's gonna look like this. And what we're gonna do basically, there's a way to approach this as well. If I designed the red one, this red piece, with the same exact anchor points, I could have simply copy pasted the anchor points from this shape to the other one. But I decided to be a bit more free and then kind of delete way more and then kind of like just play with it. So I can't do that anymore. Okay. Because here, let me show you what happens if I do that. So since we have the exact same shapes of forms and everything, and if I select, I think this is the letter A, if I select that, and then I'm just gonna hide this, and you will see what happens. It's kind of, it gets all wacky.
And we have in the chat, someone kept asking me to switch a tiny thing on a project over and over and over again to say, after all the work, that she just liked the original the most.
You know
what? Had that before?
All the time. And I think it's the beauty of kind of like the working is that you practice a lot and then you'll learn and then next time you will know what they like, you know? So as you can see,
what did you do here?
Yeah, basically I copied the keyframes from the other piece from the red one, and then I pasted it on the letter A of this. Okay. That's why it looks really weird now. And then as you can see, there's all like the breakpoints, because what it's doing is it's generating extra anchor points, and it doesn't really know where it goes.
Okay.
But to fix it, it will take more time than to create a new one.
Oh, okay.
So we're just gonna do that. Yeah.
Because you said that, because you said this is something you could have done, where you just reuse the anchor points.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Instead, you prefer to customize and create them.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep it as a reference on top. A bit of a red, and here we go. It is now focus time. Bye, guys. I will see you guys in an hour.
Yeah, sounds good. I love how it's looking here. So while you work, I'm going to see it. People are excited to see you coming back. We got
Incredible.
Broges saying Gio is back. Looks like you brought the
Hello.
crowd today, which is awesome. No pressure. No pressure.
Hello, Brooks. How's it going?
But I'm just loving seeing this. And I love how you shared the example, too, of what it looks like when you just copy and paste or use the same anchor points.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's reminds me of like Doctor Strange from Marvel. Just it was twisted into itself, you know? So
Yeah, it's a really weird morph. Sometimes it can get into that, and it doesn't always work. And obviously, I'm not gonna go 1-to-1 because I think it's gonna take more time. It's gonna look similar.
But right now you're aligning them manually with the original, or with the transformation it's going to become?
Yeah, exactly. So I will show you in a second once I'm kind of like just roughly done doing so, and then later on I'm gonna refine it, but without the reference, because I feel like each piece deserves its own love.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and its own a bit of its own originality, and also in After Effects sometimes it may look a bit different because you kind of like, oh, actually, when things are animated, you just see them a bit differently.
Okay.
Because when they morph, and then you kind of like, oh, I kind of like it when it was like this, and then you just kind of like go a bit into that shape and form, and that's okay.
And as you're doing this, do you have an idea of what it's going to look like when it's animated, or is it a surprise for you? You click that and you watch the animation take place. Is that usually a surprise, or do you have a rough idea of what it's going to look like?
I have a rough idea of how I want the animation to go.
Okay.
I don't know the final result, how it's going to be, usually, but since I have the red one on top already as a reference, because it's going to help me to finalize this piece, but usually I don't know how it's going to go, so I kind of like just experiment, play with it, and then, that's what I usually do, but I kind of know how it's going to be animated.
Yes.
That's about it. Yeah.
And I'm just looking at all the different curves on this O and how stretched it's going from the original Adobe font to your font, your typography.
But hold on a second. Let me see if it's actually aligned. Oh, it's not aligned. Look at that, guys. Amazing. I made a mistake.
Hey,
it's not a mistake, but it's more like, okay, I just gotta change up the alignment a bit. Oh, there you go. It's a quick fix. Not a really big deal.
Probably one of those mistakes that you noticed, but we as the viewers watching your process might not have even noticed, right?
That's exactly. So, and it's just kind of like also again, my own preference to kind of like, because I like to have the files prepped ahead of time, and when it's animated, it looks good. And it's took me a while to kind of like learn this process to be able to notice them, because again, practice makes it good. I don't know, like there's a saying, I think, practice makes
perfect, or is it kind of the opposite of the
kinda?
How do you feel about I know there's a lot of ideas about the word perfect, right?
Yeah.
And people are saying, look, we're all humans, we all make mistakes. They're saying he's actually a human, he makes mistakes. Who would have guessed?
Oh, I'm a human, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it's practice does make it perfect, but the definition of perfection, I think, for each person is also relative. It's like always different, because I think the perfection to me personally comes from, for example, let's say I have a project, and if I have things listed like to-do tasks.
Oh yes, okay.
Then I have to make it perfect, because I have an expectation to hit. But if I don't have that list, I can stop anytime.
Oh, very nice.
And it can be perfect anytime, So that's why at that time, like, perfection is a bit relative at that point.
There really is something about having a to-do list that I think can be a big obstacle for us, right?
Yeah.
My favorite saying is, Eat the frog. Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah. Unpleasant trees first.
Yes, do the worst thing or the thing you're fearing or dreading the most that's on your to-do list if you use to-do lists. Get that out of the way, or else you're just going to be thinking about it as you go through the rest of the list anyways. So
Yeah,
get it done.
I think it's because that's what they do in Toronto, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I was told, at least. Like people in the East Coast, they're more like a doers. They
Yes.
like to eat the frog first. But if you're on the West Coast, you don't eat the frog at all.
Well, being on the West Coast right now, I'm wishing I have that. Right, I think I need to get away from the do of the East Coast.
Sometimes it is nice to take a break and kind of like just relax a bit. And actually, you know what? Actually, I'm enjoying. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important for anyone in the chat who's just tuning into this session. In case you didn't know, Gio designed this in an earlier session today.
Yeah.
And the replay will be available, so you'll be able to go back and see how he created this in the first place, going from the Adobe Clean font to your own design. And now we're animating it, which I know is, you said that's a little bit different from your usual process. It's a lot. How do you usually spread it? Look at that.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Do you usually spread this out throughout a day, or
Yeah.
what's your workflow usually like?
It's not 15 minutes. It may be 5 hours. Like the one at Attack on Titan you were saying earlier. That took me like 4 hours. I think.
Wow.
It's just, but it was also like out of excitement. I'm like, oh, I gotta do this.
Yes. And
Okay.
here, look at this transformation happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to look at. As you can see, the letter E is also wacky. So we're gonna have to fix that.
Is it how it kind of crosses through
Yeah.
itself? Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna smooth it out and make it so it doesn't look weird. Like
The
this,
A I love. And I love how you, I really love how you pointed out how you made that change to the A with the anchor point, swapping it over from the left to the right.
Yeah.
And me, as someone who's really just learning this and experiencing this with you for the first time, I'm already seeing how it looks like that smooth transition from that curve came about because of that swap, if I'm correct in saying that?
Exactly. You got it. And that's why I kind of like needed to make it a bit more, I guess just like plan it out a bit ahead. So the anchor points are on the left side and not on the right side. So here, what I'm gonna do is basically not look at the reference that I had because it's not gonna look the same.
Okay.
And since we have more anchor points here, what I'm basically gonna do is kind of like just wing it. Just like,
Yeah, let's do it.
like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it because we have so many more anchor points, and like I have to like kind of make it look like not so jagged. You know, it's just like,
Looking for it to be smooth.
yeah, just like have fun a bit. Like, for example, I think I'm gonna add a bit of this, like a bit of a haircut on this letter A, as you can see here. It's like, okay.
It's got my hair going on there. Here we go.
This is you. This is literally you.
No, and I really like how you have taken away the reference image. Is that something you do often? Do you find having the reference image, can you get confined to it a little bit when you're in this stage of the process?
I do like to do reference if sometimes I don't, but having a reference helps me to like, because when I write the word, I could be like, the A could be too big, like it could be this big, and then the D could be like this small if I don't have a plan and I just wing it. But having a reference just helps me to like roughly understand, okay, so the A is gonna go up until this point, and then the other letters will fit in nicely later on. So it's kind of nice to have that.
And it really is amazing to see how it all fits in. Each letter fits into one another perfectly.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, it's nice to have that. But not having a plan is also nice sometimes because you just want to have fun.
Yes, yeah.
So
And that's important too.
Yeah. And I often just decide to just like draw these. So I like draw them out instead of doing it in Illustrator.
Okay.
So I would draw them in Photoshop using my tablet, and then same thing. It takes way longer but it's just satisfying.
Yeah, and hey, honestly, it's satisfying to watch this, and I think the audience can agree. I have the added benefit of I can hear like the soothing clicks of your mouse right here.
Really?
And I don't think the audience can pick up on that, but just hearing that, I can see why it's a very relaxing process.
You know what? I don't like clicking sounds.
No, really?
And that's why I bought like noise canceling headphones.
Oh, okay.
Just to help me not to hear the click of my mouse.
Get in your own zone, get in the element.
Yeah, exactly. And then sometimes just put some music and like just chill and just listen and enjoy it.
Jacob just said ASMR, but just mouse clicks.
ASMR, Adobe ASMR. Well, Welcome guys to Adobe ASMR. Today we're doing After Effects with
Throw some clicks in there. I love it. There's a whole channel. There's a new Adobe Live playlist.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm basically smoothing things out, and then later on we're going to jump into texturing it and see what I can do with this piece. But the main focus is animation. And honestly, sometimes texturing in After Effects can be very demanding because it's a very RAM-intensive program.
Okay.
It basically eats all of your RAM as much as possible if you're not careful with it, and it takes some time to render. And it is a good program, but it's also, yeah, it just like runs a bit slower sometimes.
If there's like all that your computer's doing, right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm keeping it very simple.
Very nice.
And just the anchor points doesn't take a lot of, it's not very demanding. It's kind of like, yeah.
And when you mentioned that normally what you might do is just draw it or do it in Photoshop or on your tablet. When you do it that way, I'm guessing you don't have the anchor points done previously.
No.
So when you did it today in Illustrator, you were able to put in those anchor points kind of proactively before getting to this step.
Yeah. So I used in Illustrator, I used the font, Adobe's official font called Adobe Clean, and I just used this, and then I kind of just use the anchor points here and then kind of stretch them out, and this is what we got.
That's
going
amazing.
On the top.
And like I said, go back and watch that replay. It's all there where people will be able to see how you created that.
Yeah. Please watch it. Yeah.
And Reverb Mike is saying, noticing that things are running a lot faster. Alana is liking the niche of the Adobe Live ASMR.
Adobe.
Alyssa, the ASMR we didn't know we needed.
The ASMR of mouse.
There's a niche for everything, right? There's a brand for everything, and that's what's wonderful about all the different platforms we have today.
Yeah. Also, the letter D is so tricky sometimes because the D letter, the capital one, I like the capital D more than the lowercase because it's a lot simpler, I would say. And since we're transforming it from a lowercase, what I wrote here is a lowercase d.
Oh, yes.
It's a bit tricky as well because, I don't know, I have a whole tier list of letters.
I was actually, as you were saying that, I was going to ask you, what are your top three that you prefer to work with?
Top three, lowercase letter A.
Okay.
Letter K. And then I think it was letter M or W. Because, I mean, they're both kind of the same. They're kind of the same, yeah.
If you can do an M, you can do a W.
I love playing with those letters because they're just so you can just go anywhere with them, and you can stretch them sideways, vertically, and it still looks the same, it keeps it the same. And then, for example, the letter A, the lowercase, for example, here, let me just write it. So this is lowercase a.
Yep.
The capital A is like this. But what I started doing instead, I would write it like this.
Oh, okay.
This also looks like a lowercase a, where kind of like this,
Yes. Some people do their A's that way.
Yeah, so when I animate it, I just do it this way. Kind of like...
And that kind of meets both, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's kind of like 2 in 1. And that's why I automatically put it on the other side because I got so used to it.
Oh, right.
But I forgot that it's this is how I did it. So.
And sorry, was A in your top tier or was towards the bottom tier?
No, A is a top tier.
Top tier.
Bottom tier is letter C.
Interesting. Why is that? I thought that would have been just... Oh, boring. Okay,
so boring. Look. And then letter L, the lowercase. Letter I, they're boring. It's like the straight line and that's it. It's no fun.
There's less to do with them. You have to get more creative with them.
Yeah. You can't really, when you animate them, you just kind of okay, that's it. It gets so boring.
You heard it here first, people. The top tier and bottom tier of letters for animation.
Yeah, it's quite interesting alphabet. But yeah, so what I'm basically doing right now is kind of playing within After Effects, trying to see what I can do with these letters, and I'm evening out the anchor points and then making them look a bit more nicer.
Okay.
Though I don't want to get too stuck up on this because the time is a bit constrained. Because imagine I would take 4 to 5 hours to do this.
Fair, right.
You just kind of like sit down.
Yes.
You kind of like
relax, like you said, put on some
yeah.
music, try different things out.
So kind of like,
Yeah.
okay. But then I'm like, okay,
No,
where does this go?
and our audience knows that we are live. You're live streaming this, right?
Yeah. We're right here, right now. So
I think we're all just lucky we get to see this process.
thank you so much. I'm also very lucky to be here, and I really appreciate you guys for reaching out to me and inviting me to do this. It's one of those like once in a lifetime opportunities as well, because it's incredible. So I feel very grateful.
Oh, that's awesome.
And lucky as well.
I feel the same way.
Thank you. Yeah.
And thank you to the audience for being here. If you work with I guess fonts and letters, what do you have a top tier or bottom tier?
Yeah. What's your favorite letter?
Or even just anything you work with. Yeah. To write, what's your favorite letter? But anything you work with, what are those things that you have to set a tier list to? And we have in the comments, we just need more popcorn, so you can take your time.
Please give me some popcorn.
I think I'm gonna hear my stomach grumble a little bit from thinking about popcorn.
Yeah. Okay, and then the letter B.
And I love the little hair swoop in the A. I'm not gonna forget that now. I'm never gonna unsee it.
You're gonna do that from now on.
Yes.
As well? Yeah.
And I can really see like the flow you're adding to it and how it's really from those. Is that from adding more anchor points? Is that what does that?
It just has the font itself has a lot more anchor points.
Okay.
Like just automatically, and that's why it's a bit harder to work with. It's not harder. It's just more time consuming because now I have to make sure that every anchor point flows nicely with one another.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing, and basically kind of like just trying to make sure that it's all smooth basically.
Yes.
Because as you can see, it's kind of like jittery.
Yeah, a little bit jagged there.
Yeah. But I'm making sure that it's all kind of like it's all like nice and together.
Oh, and it's amazing just to see from where you've started, left to right, going through the letters and it going from like we have the E and the B, or the E looking a little jagged, but we know where it's going to get because we can see the A, the D, the E, or the A, the D, the O.
Yeah.
We have some letters in the chat. We have the letter B as a favorite, and we have R and K from
How
Alyssa
can I forget
as
R?
top tier letters.
I love R too.
Robert has a question for you. What is the most difficult letter to animate?
Oh.
Or difficult? So I know some of your bottom tier were like boring ones, right? Like,
Yeah.
You don't get to have as much fun. What about difficulty-wise?
Difficulty-wise, I think that's a good one because I'm looking at my keyboard. Which letters are there?
Yeah.
Letter G and K. I think the K, as fun as it is, because of how many shapes there are in the letter K, it takes a while to like kind of like move them and then make sure that like how they fit together. For example, I'll just show like a quick example too. Like the letter J, like you need to make sure that this part is always there because without it just looks like a C.
Oh, very true.
Or like sometimes I'll kind of like doing this as well, and just like or this, and then it kind of like starts looking like a lowercase g. There you go, lowercase g again.
Well, you get some of those letters where it's like you can the lowercase and the uppercase are kind of similar, and you can see where they got that from. Then you get some letters where it's just night and day between the two of them, right?
Yeah, and then like the letter R, I think is really fun because what I like people would like usually it's written like just R like this and that, or like
I'm trying to think of how
I don't know, like this and that. What I like to do is go from the bottom up and then go like this, and there you go.
Oh.
It just makes it so beautiful.
Very
It's like a shoe, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a nice little shoe. But also, that's my favorite letter as well to do, to animate as well.
And Alyssa agrees. R is a top tier letter.
R.
Robert is saying the letter E. I think that might have been in response to a difficult letter to animate.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do it right now here. So
let's see. Perfect timing.
I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Honestly, it's like we will see how it's gonna go because it's a lowercase, from a lowercase to uppercase.
Yes, that's very important too. I can really see it. I love it in the letter D in particular. You can really see the lowercase to uppercase transformation.
Yeah.
And I look at those two letters, looking at my keyboard, I know it's all uppercase right now, but I look at those two letters and it's difficult to see how it's possible, but then I see what you've done here, and it becomes possible, which is amazing to see.
Okay, so we're kind of like done with the basic.
Okay.
There's still a bit more like this part here. I just want to like fix some things. But again, we're a bit of in a time constraint here because if I were doing this on my own time, I would take hours to like fix it one by one, and then like, okay, like yeah, be a bit more delicate with every anchor point. But I think this is in a pretty good
Love it.
place. But
Well,
now,
Michelle's excited in the chat. It's animation time. We're looking like animation time.
Hi, Michelle. So let's see. It kind of like goes like this.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And what we're gonna do is basically make sure that what I don't like doing is when they merge together. Like as you can see, merging. It's like it's all merging, right?
Is there a letter as an example? Which one would be doing?
So,
or all the letters, kind of.
So basically, the letter D, B, and E. You
Okay.
can see these like merging parts. They're all like kind of like special like this
Okay.
part. This part. This
On
is
the E
messy.
there. Okay.
This is very messy. So I don't like that. I'm gonna try to fix that. So what we're gonna do basically is gonna go somewhere here, and then
And I love your showing that because like that might have stood out to some people in the audience, and they're like, I have no idea how you could possibly fix that, right? So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see.
so what we're gonna do. Okay, hold on. Let me think for a second. So what it does is basically this. Okay, the letter D. Let me write it down. So basically, it's kind of like this
Mm-hmm.
goes into this.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a reverse G, but
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, I think I want to have this part here, go a bit higher like this. So I think going like this first, and then snapping into what we have final. So what we're gonna focus on is in this piece. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do here. Is we're gonna stretch this piece out here like this a bit.
Oh, very cool.
And then we're gonna see what's gonna happen because I have no idea. See, this is where
I think this
gets
is the special part of
exciting.
live streaming. We get to see this process and how you're
Yeah.
applying this fix, and I love taking it back to the drawing board, literally, right, and popping in
Yeah.
there and showing what you want it to look like, what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah, what's going on here? It's like, oh, I'm pressing on the Bezier instead of an anchor point. So basically, kind of like pulling it back,
Okay.
this part of the letter D, and then let's
Is that
go.
to give us some space so they're not.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
As
that.
you can see, it's kind of like. There you go.
Oh,
As you can
very
see.
nice. They're
See?
already just on
It-
their own paths.
Yeah, it makes it a bit more exciting as well. And I
Yeah.
think this part. So this anchor point moves too fast. As you can see, it goes all the way there. So instead of it moving that much, we can actually change the final result a bit to be here.
Okay.
So this anchor point doesn't have to travel as much.
Oh, okay.
So we're just helping them.
Was the speed coming from how quickly it has to travel, or how much of a distance it has to travel in that
Yeah,
time?
and it would just make the final result a bit jaggy. It's kind of like if it didn't travel as much, it would be a lot easier for it to just like stay in the same position. And as you can see now, see, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a lot more smoother. So
Very nice.
it still travels a bit up, but it's fine. We're gonna like fix that in here.
Hello, AAR Creativo. We have a question.
Yep.
How did you get your idea? How do you get your ideas when you're creating type and animation? So I guess how do you get your idea of what it's going to transform into, what you want the animation to look like?
Yeah, that's a good question because as I was like talking in the earlier session when I was designing it in Illustrator, basically during COVID time when everyone was like constrained back in their homes and like they couldn't really leave, and it was nice at first. It's kind of like, wow, I have so much time now, I can
Yeah.
do whatever. But then over time you just get so bored and like there's like nothing to do and you're like same thing every day. And that's when I wanted to like also kind of get out, you know.
Oh,
like
fair.
I want to get out and just like explore and see everything, and I think that kind of translates into my lettering as well. And that's why they're all like so explosive in
Oh,
a
I
sense
love
that it's just like wants to like maximalism, like want to get out, like just,
Yeah.
like, do so much, and that's kind of how it started, honestly.
No, I love that.
And yeah, it's kind of like, okay, so kind of you can see what I was going for here. So as you can see, the anchor point that was at the bottom here, this one,
Okay.
as you can see, this piece here, it doesn't travel as much and it stays around the same spot, just vertically. So, but visually, it all looks the same. Doesn't
Yeah.
affect too much. So we're gonna keep moving forward with the other letters because
Wow,
we have.
it really gives me appreciation for every little thing that's going on, right? To see that, to be able to track and see those anchor points.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's kind of nice.
I think
to-
explosive is the perfect way to describe it, right?
Yeah. That's why I think that's why I kind of like fell in love with the lettering just in general because it's,
Is that when you started this style?
because I've never done lettering in the past. I used to work in agencies and then I would do a lot of like brand guidelines. So they were cool. I would do like sometimes I would actually do like hand lettering for the like logo designs.
Okay.
But I wouldn't really explore on that. I would just be like, okay, this is cool, and then kind of forget about
Yeah.
it. It wasn't really, I guess, memorable. But then when I started actually focusing on the lettering, that's when it kind of dawned on me that I actually enjoy this a lot. So it's
I can tell. I enjoy watching it.
Thank you.
And the audience is too. Robert's asking, how long did it take you to master the anchor points in After Effects?
I don't think I have mastered it. Honestly, there are so many people that are way better than me, and I think I still have not. It's just, I just try to like look at it and click the buttons, and honestly, I try to like think of an end result. Like, okay, what is wrong here? Like, as you can see, it's a bit of a like this bend here going on. So I'm gonna like just space it a bit, just give it a bit of a space and make it smoother.
It's almost like you're sculpting, right?
Exactly,
You're
yeah,
smoothing
yeah.
out clay, you're adding on some new clay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going
Very
on here.
cool.
So now we have like kind of like this letter is kind of like
I really love that you
Kinda
switched
like-
that anchor. You showed us the process of switching that anchor point on the A from the start, because that's all I'm looking at it so much, and I'm seeing that's my focal point for the animation and transformation now, because you brought that to my attention. I love it.
yeah. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. It's just I'm just trying to have fun a bit, make sure that the letters are also having fun, because I am bringing this into life.
Yes, I love
It's
that.
kind of like enjoying this and
And that's what we're hanging out here. That's what I love about doing this live,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, as you can see, it goes like tuk, and then you get the haircut.
There it is. Okay,
That's
I
it.
thought for a second you got rid of the haircut.
No,
but I
no,
guess
no,
you were
no,
just
no.
on the timeline before it transforms.
Yeah, I wanted to like transforms and then
There.
bam, haircut. Transform, bang. So we're gonna do the same thing with the 3 other letters, and I gotta pick up a bit of a pace because we
Fair,
are
yeah.
in a bit of the time is crunching.
We
Let
have
me.
about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And Broges is saying, "Can you please tell Gio my mom came to have to watch it, and she says he is lovely."
Thank you.
She is tuning into the live stream just to see you, and
Thank
she
you
says
very
you're
much,
lovely.
bros. Say hi to your mom from me. Yeah, my dear friend, bros. Okay, so the letter O is pretty basic. It's also one of my lower tier letters because it's just
The O?
so yeah. The letter O and number 0, they're both same.
Oh, fair.
They're both the same to me. They're kind of like nah, kind of like. Okay, hold on. If it goes like tuk tuk, okay, I want it to be a bit more like. Maybe a bit more lower actually. Maybe it's a bit
okay.
lower that way. It has a bit of a time to like grow and expand and
And this is like midway through the animation. It would be
yeah.
this height. And
So
then
it's gonna be it's gonna have like okay, weird example, but
We
you
love
know-
the weird examples.
You know in Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee movies when they fight,
Yes. Yeah.
he goes like kind of like this,
Yeah.
kind of like just punch and back.
Return back.
Yeah, this is kind of the same.
Okay.
It goes like punch and back.
Return and
But
return.
then, I mean, it doesn't return to the same state. It goes into something else. So that's what's happening. It's kind of like, because I grew up watching those, and maybe that's why it kind of
Oh,
became.
I love that.
Because it goes like anticipation and then impact.
Yes.
Anticipation,
Ooh, I love
impact. Kind of like anticipation, impact. So, well, you will see. I'll change the keyframes a bit in a bit, and then you'll kind of like see that happening. But right now we're kind of building those examples, and then okay, the B is gonna be also very similar to D, but instead I'm gonna make it so it goes lower.
And that's where it's interesting to see, because a lowercase d and a lowercase b are pretty much just mirrors of each other, right? But the
Yeah.
uppercase aren't. So to
Exactly.
see how you work with, I can imagine that would be a difficult part of the project too. Like, or you can't just do the same thing, right?
Yeah. But that's the beauty of it too. It's like you get to do new things all the time, and you can experiment and just have fun with it too, because if you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Right.
Yeah. So then we have.
And Alejandro is saying, it reminds me of the modular typesetting class.
Oh.
Very nice metamorphosis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro.
Never taken typographic classes. Sometimes I wish I had, but then again, I think the reason I'm doing this typography is because I enjoy breaking it apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay.
And I like how you're doing this without the guide like behind you anymore, right? Or
Yeah,
the overlay.
yeah, that's
kind of just
that's old now.
free. Yeah, I forgot it was even there to begin
Yeah,
with.
we're doing it our own. Okay, the B is done. As you can see, the B
Very
goes
cool.
like down and up,
Oh,
down
I love
and up.
that. Yeah.
And now we're gonna jump to the letter E. Now that's the tricky one
Mm-hmm.
because let's go back to the drawing.
Yep.
As you
I
can
always
see,
love
the
going back to the
E,
drawing board.
And then the final one is kind of like, so there's no separation on this one, but we're gonna have to somehow improvise here. I think I want this part. So this part needs to become this part.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So then it has to somehow
like
rotate.
unfurl a little bit?
Yeah. Becomes letter C for a moment.
Yeah, I like
And then
that for a
goes here
moment.
like this. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. It's gonna go this way. So we have to unfold it instead of whatever this is.
Very cool. Hey, Fragnum Opus, thank you for joining us. And again, anyone in the chat, if you have any questions, please ask them
Ask them right now. You only have 10 minutes.
in this window.
Okay.
Oh, I'm learning so much just from watching this process. Like I said, I love seeing you go to the drawing board and think about, how am I going to unfurl this? How am I going to turn this into
Yeah.
that? It's giving me a huge appreciation for the difference in
Yeah.
lowercase and uppercase between letters as I look down at my greasy keyboard that I think I need to wipe down after this.
Yeah, don't dox your keyboard. How about, okay, I think I know the problem that could be fixed a bit more, because this, I don't know what the terms are, but in this letter A, this middle part is in the middle.
Okay.
But the anchor points are not. Their anchor points are all over the place. So
Oh,
we're going to
interesting.
fix the final one a bit. I'm going to select these anchor points and see where they are. So they're on this part. So instead, I'm going to drag them here. This is what we're going to do. I'm just improvising a
Yeah.
bit, making it a bit more easier to look at. And then you can kind of see
And so did you say you're changing anchor points on what it's turning into or the original? Or both?
the final.
Oh,
final,
okay,
what
the
it's
final.
turning into, yeah. Because I want to make sure that, as you can see, like, where they are. Okay, so it's at the bottom. So it's bottom two. So I'm just looking at these two here. So these two, like, pay attention to
Okay.
these two anchor
Yep.
points. And you can see they don't go anywhere, but then I
Yeah.
want them to go here instead. So this is where we're gonna kind of like push them into rather, and then push the other anchor points to a bit below, just so we have enough space, and the animation is a lot smoother.
Yes.
That's basically what I'm doing.
I love that you directed my attention to like certain anchor points, because as you were just before you said that, I was creating this little game for myself of like, I'm gonna pick an anchor point to lock onto and just see where it goes, and that's a lot of fun for me. Just seeing
Yeah.
as it transforms and what it becomes and what pathway it's on.
Okay, so let's see how it goes. Okay, obviously. Okay, hold on. Which one is the letter E? It's this path. So I'm just gonna delete this again and then fix it a bit. So I'm gonna select these anchor points and I'm gonna unfold them this way.
Oh, very cool. Is that so they don't cross over as much into each
Yeah,
other?
because I just don't like when it's crossing over.
And you can do this without changing the final position, I'm guessing, or the final anchor point? So it still ends up in the same position?
No, I changed the final one, but I didn't change the one from the start.
Oh, okay.
So this issue, it's not really an issue, it's just a bit of an inconvenience. It comes from a bad prep.
Hey, well,
I would
like we
say,
said.
yeah, because the font had so many anchor points.
Okay.
I could have avoided it by cleaning it up beforehand, but I didn't. So this is...
And as a reminder to the audience, for anyone who's just tuning in for this part, you also just created this today in
Yeah.
another 1 hour session, which people can go back and watch the replay of here on Adobe
Yeah.
Live.
As you can see, so it's unfolding
Mm-hmm.
here, and I'm just going to quickly fix these
Kind of giving it
parts.
more space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making it nicer. And then Oh, this is a messy part. I wanted to go here. So I'm just focusing on those two anchor points where I have fixing earlier. I was fixing earlier. So that way.
It's almost like landscaping. Like you have you're creating these caves and molding them around each other so they can all fit. It's very interesting.
Pretty much. That's literally I'm just sculpting.
Yeah.
Letter forming. Type shaping.
Oh yeah, we have another question from that question window. This one is, Gio, will you be my Valentine, from Mr. Slow-Mo Pro.
Yes, Eli. Please. Please be my Valentine. Thank you.
Oh, but I already see how it's crossing over less, right? From what you just did.
Yeah, as you can see, look at that.
Yeah.
It's but it's crazy. It's a bit crazy. So we're going to try to fix that.
I love how it looks that way. Yeah.
And then this part. So I don't think I'm gonna texture it. I think because of the time constraint.
Just seeing this though, I think being able to see this deep dive into your process and how you are able to align everything and basically prevent these from colliding with each other is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I love non-colliding lettering.
Yeah.
Animation specifically.
It's reminding me, are you a Star Wars fan at all?
Star Wars fan. Have you seen Andor? I love Andor.
I know I haven't.
What?
I haven't seen.
I think Andor is the real Star Wars.
Interesting.
I will say that.
It's like a more to the ground of Star Wars almost.
Yeah,
right? I do like that element. Well, this is reminding me of. I love Star Wars Episode 1. It's reminding me of the pod racing of just how cleanly they have to navigate through the course, watch the cliffside, the mountain. I think you're putting these elements so they don't collide with each other.
Yeah.
And I can imagine you just in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I'm basically like flowing through them.
Yes, exactly.
But here, basically, what I'm gonna do, I have deleted those anchor points because I think I need to set the timing of the animation first before I actually jump into that. So what I like to do is go fast and then slow down where you see the second animation, the impact, and then go back. So what we're gonna do is I'm in the graph editor, and I'm gonna move these graphs to a bit to this slowly here, and impact, and watch. Kind of
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go. So we're gonna give a bit more time, obviously, because the final result. So kind of impact. There you go.
It really is like a transformation in stages like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
There you go.
Oh, very cool. I need sound effects. I need that punch sound effect from the. There we go. More ASMR for you, everybody.
Kind of like that, yeah. All right, so now we can jump back into the letter E again, because now we have a bit more time here where it's kind of not time. I mean, it's a bit shorter time, but it's a bit easier to fix it through here.
That's giving us more room to kind of prevent it from colliding or overlapping.
Exactly. So
it's giving us more space.
Yeah, I'm just gonna basically kind of go through here.
Linton, welcome back.
Hello, Linton.
And don't worry, you missed it. You can always catch the replay. I know I'm gonna be catching the replay, and I'm seeing this. I'm here live watching this. Hello, Joffrey. Welcome.
Joffrey, hello, Joffrey. What's up, Joffrey? Oh. Okay. It's gonna be a bit of a keyframe, like a keyframe animation, like a frame by frame, those like Disney old movies where they used to draw it all by hand. So I'm basically doing kind of the same thing, but digitally with keyframes.
Getting very microscopic.
Yeah. So again, focusing on the right anchor points. So they are in the right location for the animation part, and they're not basically spacing it out properly. So it's all smoother.
They're like an air traffic controller.
I am an air traffic controller, guys. Welcome to air traffic control stream.
I think you could give. I think I'm discovering, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
There you go. Look
at that.
No collision.
Hey, no collision. And I love how it emerges. Just like you said when you went back when you were at the drawing board.
Yeah.
You showed us what you were going to turn that little curve of the lowercase e.
Look at that. See?
There it is.
So from the E goes to C,
Unraveling.
and then you get like, oh, like
Yeah, and I love how it just emerges. That's very cool.
there you go. You see? Oh, okay. This actually worked out.
That is
Okay,
awesome.
Perfect. So, actually, we have a bit of time now. No, we
Yeah,
have a
about
bit
5
of
minutes.
time. Okay.
Oh, that's so cool seeing
gonna
that
make
emerge.
it obviously black color. Actually, no, we're gonna make it red, like our final one previously. What is the hex? I think it's just red.
And I love seeing that. Again, you had that starting point, that reference, but I love seeing how it's evolved instead. And your animation really just helped you find where it is now.
Yeah, as you can see this.
Joffrey's saying, wait, earlier you made the B, I believe, into an airline logo. It was a heart.
Oh.
And now you're an air traffic controller. I'm seeing a theme.
You know, my dad always wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, yeah?
So then I went to Air Cadets and I studied all that, and then, yeah, maybe it's just, it's just in my heart. It kind of like
I
stayed
love
with
it.
me.
It comes out in the art, right?
Yeah, studied for that, became a graphic designer.
And thank you, Linton. Linton pointing out I look so happy and wowed. I am wowed. This is such an awesome experience for me to see. I may not be your co-pilot. I'm not offering much.
You're actually co-pilot here. No, because like, have you ever seen the movie with Tom Hanks and I forgot that guy. It's like he's like a Day Knights from Dark Knight's second one where Joker plays.
Is it the one where he's a pilot, Tom Hanks? Or?
Yeah, Tom Hanks, and then the Two-Face guy.
Oh,
forgot his name.
Oh no, I don't remember either. I haven't. Is the movie? Is it Sully?
Sully, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I haven't seen the movie.
Because in that movie, Tom Hanks is a main pilot. He controls everything. He talks, and then his co-pilot actually leads through. So
okay.
You are leading me through the chat. You're telling me, I'm like, this is a control panel.
Yeah.
You are my eyes. You're like, what's going on? You're like telling me. So it's kind of like, yeah. So
I love it.
It's a teamwork.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sully. Yeah. Joffrey's reminding us.
There you go. Okay. Cool.
Maybe I'll watch that on my flight home tonight.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually try to apply a bit of a texturing now. Not texturing, but a bit of the jazz that I like to do. So I'm just gonna hide the background, make it a bit more fast blur effect. This effect I learned it from Texture Labs. It's just an amazing tutorials on YouTube, and then also from Ben Marriott as well. Just a lot of so many amazing people online, like teaching one another, like helping to be better at this whole.
The climate of sharing what you've discovered and what you know to do is really just what keeps this going. I love it.
Exactly. Okay, let me.
And are we transforming the colors here too? Is it going from?
It's gonna
black to
transform, yeah. But I'm basically gonna try to what was that? Like a roughen. I don't quite remember because I do have this file system that I have, and it's like the textures and everything is kind of set up. It's all ready, and I've been just playing with it, and I don't. So it's a bit jittery.
Okay.
As you can see, and I like to I think it was a fast blur threshold and then roughen. But do I even need this threshold?
I love how these effects can work with the animation you've already created.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's it's just a supporting element. It's not something final though.
Robert's saying the E transformed into a defender of the other fonts.
Honestly, yeah, that's what it is.
It really is. I think it's turned into the most powerful one there.
Okay, I think it was turbulence. Was it turbulence? Turbulent displace, I believe. It was if we do it here, and then we only have 5 points instead of too many. And instead here, I believe it was the bulge part. It's I didn't want to do too much, and then we're just gonna do the evolution time 4,000. The 4,000 number is just a random number because it helps it to Oh, that's too much now. As you can see, it's
It's gonna implode.
Everyone, please fasten your seatbelts. We're going through a turbulence.
There we go. Seatbelts on, people.
Seatbelts on, guys.
There we go.
Everyone, please sit. Seatbelts.
And we do have about 1 minute.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay. Honestly, I think it actually looked a lot better without it too. So I'm just gonna go back and kind of actually just enjoy what it is.
Yeah,
Because
let's.
I think where we got
our seatbelts on. I think let's just enjoy the animation.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people are gonna say, Linton's saying, "I love the A." Yeah, let us know your favorite letters as we wrap this one up. I think I really like the E after seeing the transformation it took and that process to really go from a lowercase e to a capital E. But yeah, why don't we watch it? Why don't we take a look at it one more time?
I would like it to like go back a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then so we have 3-second animation. Okay, so let's see it. Bang, bang.
There we go.
Then goes
and
back.
then it switches back.
There you
That is
go.
the transformation.
Look at that.
Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you, Gio. This has been such an awesome experience for me, and I know it has been for the chat. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We still have, and I know they shared your Behance page and your design page there. We still have one more session today in this full action-packed day. So stay tuned next. I'll be doing some work in Adobe Express with Courtney Thomas back here to host me, and we'll be looking at how you can develop your brand with some fun things in Adobe Express and Firefly. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Yeah, this was an amazing experience, and I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed this process of my lettering and typographic animation. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining the flight.
Thank you.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, I'm Courtney. This is Lucas.
Hello, everybody.
And what are we talking about today?
We are looking at how to develop and make your brand stand out on social media.
Let's talk about
using our favorite tool, Adobe Express.
We love Adobe Express.
But we're also going to be working in some Firefly, so Adobe Firefly.
Tell me
to
about
also
Adobe
be created.
Firefly.
Yeah, so Adobe Firefly is Adobe's AI tool, generative AI tool that has tons of features, many of them also used in Express that I personally love to use. So text to image, generative fill, text effects, you see them all on screen. But I'm going to be using Firefly in itself on the Firefly web browser to create some elements and to match some elements to my pre-existing brand to create some social media content.
Awesome.
So what we're going to be working with today is my friend VJ and I, Vishal. We recently launched a podcast together. It is called Creator Juice, as you can see from the brand here. And it's all about giving that creative inspiration and motivation that people need, almost like that, I'm a school teacher, so I think about that day of like, you're tired, you're exhausted. I'm thinking about when I was a student, and you have that juice box in your lunch bag, and you just drink that juice box in one gulp, and you get what you needed. You get that energy. We want to give that with like the creative flow that people have. So
a boost.
Yeah. So what we did with that brand, and I have the brand kit that I've loaded here into Adobe Express, which is something I'm going to talk about, is we really have this fun, colorful, retro branding.
Nice.
We're both big video game players.
It's giving 80s video game.
It is. Are you a gamer? Have you ever had
I
any?
grew up on games. I played a little
Yeah.
Nintendo, little Super Mario, little Sonic.
Yeah, same here. So I was always a huge like Pokemon fan. My old Game Boy going through there.
Oh my gosh, I was just playing Tetris on my phone this morning. I take it back.
It's never a bad time to have that. Just load it into your apps. So we wanted to design that as a lot of the brand. The thing is though, Vishal, VJ, he's the designer.
Nice.
He's the designer on our team. And a lot of the graphics we use, he's either designed for us in Illustrator. He's made some really cool Adobe Illustrator templates for carousel posts. So carousels being, and again,
The ones you can swipe.
I'm going to cut myself off for a huge disclaimer. We both love social media, Courtney and I. So cut us off with any social media questions you have throughout the
Please
session.
do.
We're going to both try to make it nice and also relevant for that. But those swipeable carousel posts, right? I love those. You can really pack in so much info for those. But he's really the one who knows how to have that really good design flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's made some really cool templates. I'm not going to work with them today. I'll show some different content that I'll be making. But all the stuff that he's put into Illustrator, we can seamlessly put into Express and import and use, which has been really fun. But what we're looking at today, the use case is, what if I need a graphic and VJ's busy. He's at work. He's got his full-time marketing gig.
Right.
He can't do the design for me. And I either need to make some mock-ups that he's going to go back in and work with and actually design. I think AI is really useful for that. Me doing like that placeholder, me working on that ideation of, okay, here's what I want it to look like. You go design the elements. You do your thing.
Exactly.
I'll do the social media part of it. So we're going to work with that today. So just to show, again, looking in the brand kit, if I were to put in like an example of our podcast art, and I'm actually I want this to be a square just to start. We're going to be using, I know we used Resize quite a bit, you and I. Courtney being a superstar, using mobile to do so many things. I'm actually, dare I say, excited for my 6-hour plane ride because I'm gonna be on Adobe Express doing some mobile work.
Get it. You can work offline and save your projects offline as well.
I don't like having the laptop. I'm a taller individual. I don't like being cramped, and I think I have a middle seat for 6 hours.
Oh Lord, yes! Don't pull out that laptop. Stay on the phone.
I'll be on the phone designing. Shout out Ruben. Hey Ruben.
What's up? He said Adobe Bro in the house.
The Adobe Bros. We made up this.
The Adobe Bro.
At Adobe Max, we made up this completely not endorsed by Adobe. We made this up. It's just.
Oh my gosh, that's what it's for.
We call ourselves the Adobe Bros.
I love it. I'm sure Adobe would love it as well.
So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make this a square because resizing is something I'm going to use a ton today. I love how you can always duplicate and make 2 files. Don't lose your original.
Don't lose the original.
In this case, since it's just a blank, I'm going to go ahead and just resize it. And this is just going to be our typical podcast art. It's already been designed.
Oh, cool.
It's a lot of fun. It's
I
really
remember
cool.
that controller, that Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
I played on that.
There's some very fun stuff in there. I liked it when there were fewer buttons like this.
Yeah.
And because he's loaded in this kit for me, I'm going to go ahead and let's pop me in there.
Nice,
there I
look
go.
at you.
I got my shoes and everything. He really put a lot of work into making it look and feel like us.
Oh, he's great.
And so what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to add these elements and create this. But what I'm going to be using Firefly for in a moment is I'm going to match the style of this image to the new stuff I generate. So I'm going to use something called style match, which I'll give a brief little sneak peek. This is something we're going to look at later. But just so we know where we're going, this style match feature lets you upload your image and it studies what you're giving to it.
Wow.
It does the rest of its AI thing that I don't know all the workings of what's going on, right? And it's going to create some awesome elements that match and look the feel that I'm trying to go with, which is what I love. So I'm going to quickly just finish making this one as our starting point. Let's get our avatar of Vishal in there too.
Nice.
He always
Vishal.
jokes that he's a little bit shorter than me, so I'm gonna there's him.
So this is true to size.
He's gonna watch this and
He's like, I'm not that tall.
well, he always jokes. He's like, I made our characters the same height, but we're not. And I was like, that's okay.
That's okay.
I love it.
It's advertising.
Yeah. We're superheroes. Here we go. So I'm going to make us look a little bit, I don't know about you, but my favorite effect in Express is these duotone effects.
Show me the duotone.
Right?
What do you do with the duotones?
So,
I love that.
If anybody wants to make something look very cool, whether it's an image, I love this for Instagram stories. I know we chatted Instagram stories
And
earlier.
for your style in particular, I think
Yes.
duotone is really great.
Yes, right? Because I'm thinking of this as like, I want this to look like a power-up. Like you're loading in the video game screen and this is just what's flashing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a duplicate of myself and VJ. So I just did that. It was some shortcuts.
Oh yeah, what's the shortcut? Oh wow.
So I'm just doing Command-C, Command-V. And there's
Copy-paste
there's a me behind me, just so offset. This is my favorite effect to do. You just double yourself, double the image. With a transparent background, you can remove the background, but this one I already did. And on the back layer, I'm gonna go to these effects. And now I have like a little glowing power-up aura to me. I like that.
This is such a cool design effect. It's so popular, and you can do it so easily in Adobe Express.
It's so easy to do. So I'm doing the same for VJ's avatar. Normally what I'll even do is I'll count how many clicks I do or taps.
I heard that one too.
Yeah. I don't know if I did it. He's a little bit, there we go. Now we're about the same distance. And I'm gonna apply a power-up effect to him. I love these because you get so much out of them that for an image that isn't like an element you can recolor automatically. Like a lot of the icons in here and the shapes, like I know we looked at and yours and getting really creative with those shapes and covering things up that you don't want.
Yep.
You can't do that with a lot of photos and elements, right?
Nope.
But these duotone effects, you can even do custom ones, let you really.
Yeah, I've had some fun in
create
that
your own.
one. I've had some real fun in those tools.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep them the same as me. And we got our little power up there. So
Nice.
something I might do is, let me make sure I have me and him highlighted. And something fairly new in Adobe Express is they have like the layer bar here.
Yes,
so you can really
layer
just
bar.
see what you're working with and making sure you have it selected. That's very important in this case because I always accidentally select like the
Yeah.
foreground image. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go ahead. Let's make it like, we're gonna do a lot of animation stuff today. I should mention, we're gonna make,
The animations are pretty new to Express, and I see
Yes.
there's more coming soon.
There's
so they're
more
still
coming.
working. The team is working on it.
The options are so fun too. And as you mentioned, like attention spans are so short.
They're so
and
short.
the feed real estate and showing up on it is something you need to capitalize on.
You have to capture people's attention.
So I like this as like a, power up, like is like an aura kind of behind you. So I like blinking or pulsing. Pulsing I like to like pop in.
Oh my
But,
goodness!
Yeah, there's some fun ones. We got yo-yo. That's kind of fun.
Oh, that's so fun.
Wiggle. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do something really fun with spin later. So spin looks really fun here, but not for the situation. I'm just do blinking. And the really cool thing that I love is first of all, I love the word personality for an animation.
I love it.
But we can work with just different kind of pacing of the animation. We can work with the speed, have it super fast, right?
Oh my goodness. Wait, I'm just discovering all of this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now this isn't on mobile yet. This is just on desktop.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, this is huge. This is huge.
The stuff you can do. I'm gonna if the animations are exciting now, just wait.
Just
I'm gonna
see,
do some
there's
really
more
fun
coming.
stuff.
So I'm like, oh my goodness.
And there we go. I might loop this. I think I did blinking.
I can't wait to get home and design some more. Oh my gosh.
And there we go. I know I set the speeds different, so normally I would make them the same, but just to show that,
Now, how long of a duration can you get on this?
I can stretch that. I've done minutes. Like so.
Wow,
I know,
you guys.
Right. I know we chatted earlier about mobile only.
Mobile
maybe being
is only 15 seconds per frame, but this, hop on desktop, y'all.
we're not going to show it today, but I do my captions for my video, my Instagram Reels in Express now, and like have that popping up element. You can edit it. There's so many fun things you can do.
Guys, this is huge. This is huge.
So what I'm going to take with this is, I know it's designed as a video, but I'm going to just take it actually as a PNG, because I'm going to use this as, and I know my animations won't work because it's not a video, but I actually just designed this to be my reference, and that's all I want from it. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's just save it to my downloads. Podcast.
I was just going to ask you why a PNG over a JPEG, why you prefer, but I love how Adobe Express has it, and it tells you when you're choosing what style of download, it's telling you why best for image.
I've actually never tuned into that, but that's so huge. Like, because you scared me for a second when I thought you were gonna put me on the spot and be like, why are you using a PNG? And I was like, I don't know.
I don't know, but Adobe Express already has it. They're like, this is what this is best for.
It does help me, right? So
like I said, Express is such a low barrier for entry.
It really is.
Oh my goodness.
So what I've done is I've downloaded this image because I'm gonna use it as a reference. And now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make something new. This is what VJ's worked with, what he's designed. I have this vision for this new social media feed post that I think we can start using, again, like a video game launch screen, but I think it can be more immersive into that experience. And whether I'm going to just design the mock-up today and he's going to work with it and you create the elements for it, or we're going to use this. I should say I'm going to be using Firefly Model 2, which, as a disclaimer, I believe it's not available for commercial usage yet. That's Model 2 is what we're going to be using.
These are the benefits of being an Adobe ambassador. You get a little extra.
Sorry, image 2 right here. So we wouldn't use these commercially until it's something we're able to do. But again, this is amazing for mock-ups, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing for social media content.
So smart.
So I'm gonna go ahead, and we talked about this earlier. We love the social media optimization here, and we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make a new page, but I want it to be our favorite portrait. I want it to be 1080 by 1350.
There you go.
And that is my favorite size, as we mentioned, for showing up on the feed, taking that real estate.
Take up the real estate, folks.
And like we said, if you have social media questions, ask them in the chat even.
Yes, questions or tips. As we mentioned in my stream earlier, we get tips from experience, from life. So if you've got them, teach us something today. And if you guys have any questions for Lucas, drop them in the chat.
So I'm going to go to the opening here of Firefly. And I love using AI. I particularly love using AI live because you never know what you're going to get. It's fun, right?
It's so fun.
And I'll show some cool features that work within Firefly that also, I don't know about you, but whenever I use AI, I get scared that like I get this perfect generation of something and I'm not going to get it back. Like,
oh, wow.
I've
so you're like,
lost
I have to save everything.
Right. Well, favorites up here I'm going to use in a second. And you'll see that I've actually saved a lot of the stuff we're going to be using today.
This is incredible.
Just there already.
Looks like Zelda.
Yeah. So that's really the vibe we're looking for. So I'm glad you said that.
Perfect.
I'm going to go for a 16-bit. What are we looking for? Video game. I want it to be like an upgrade disc. Like in video games, what you get is you might find this like disc that, whether it's like a more sci-fi futuristic game, you find this upgrade disc that gives you like a new skill or a new power-up.
I love that.
I want the podcast to feel like that new power-up.
I love where your head is at specifically and how you're thinking about the content, and I really encourage you all out there to do the same thing. Like, you're trying to make it a gamification experience.
Yes.
And that's, first of all, hugely on trend right now, especially if you're trying to reach younger generations. But I think there's a real strategy in gamifying your social media and making it fun, making it interactive, making it discoverable.
I personally love templates. But just a warning I give with templates is, and I use templates. I always use them as a starting point.
Absolutely.
Anything I'm sharing today started as a template or VJ made it, right? But with templates, you also do risk seeing a lot of the same stuff. So like you said, gamify it, make it your own, add your own spins, which I think you did really well when on our session previously with the brands you've worked with.
Thank you.
And again, go watch that replay, everybody, because
there were some good tips in there. We were giving out game.
For the hashtag tip alone, people need to go back and watch that.
Oh my gosh. Seriously. Wait, we have a really good question from Linton. Do you guys use a lot of AI for social media? For example, I think a friend of mine used AI to write captions at some point.
Yes. So there is a lot of use cases for AI, and it's around us everywhere. And I don't think it's possible to avoid using it once you've started using it. I always do find it's really important to add your own brand voice to things. But for the example of caption writing, copywriting, even for my carousels, my swipeable posts, I love to use it. And
I love to use it too. I think though, what I've noticed from the last campaign that I've run, because we're all using it, I caution, especially like ChatGPT in particular, if you're writing captions for social media, I like to use it as a jumping off point, like an inspiration. Like you can literally type in a prompt into ChatGPT and be like, write me a caption for social media that's fun and expressive, that encourages people to go to this site. And this is like, you can basically take your brain and say, hey, start me off with something, and then you make it unique to your brand. Because what I noticed was a lot of ads that came out around the time that I was doing this campaign in the fall and the winter, they were using the same language.
Oh, yes.
Because AI was generating the same language for everybody. And instead of, customizing it past that point, I noticed that there were a lot of the same buzzwords from different brands, and I was able to identify, you're using ChatGPT to write this. Like, pretty much any brand that's like, unlock this, or it was giving the same prompts. So I would recommend...
Being able to master prompts is a skill in itself.
It
right?
really is.
It is for this case too.
I would say just don't forget to customize and make it unique for your brand, because AI, if we're all using it, it's not generating a bunch of unique things for all of the millions of people in the world. It's simply not. So just make sure, I would use it more as a jumping off point, especially for caption writing, as opposed to just taking what it spits out to you and putting it out there.
Putting it on the page.
Yeah.
And that actually really lends well to how we're using it here in Firefly, which is the style match. And Linton asking, Robert mentioning that they like number 2. I like number 2 as well. That's a good one. Let me know in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have a favorite? I know which one I have.
I like 2 because it's the purple that's giving it a little bit of extra warmth, and while it's in the third picture, it's more prevalent in the second one.
Yes, and on that note, I'm actually looking for something. I didn't tell it, right? Because knowing the prompts is a whole world in itself. I want it to look like 3.
Oh, Robert's saying he likes number 4 now.
Oh, very cool.
I could see why we're into number 4.
Number 4 is like an old cassette player. It's kind of fun.
But wait, before we decide just what we like, what's going on top of this, or how is it going to be used?
Yeah, so that's it. So this is actually going to be a background. This is going to be a background image, which is why I'm leaning towards 3. And Firefly doesn't know that. I didn't tell it that, right? Maybe I'm not as good as I should be at writing prompts.
But I see more negative space where you're going to be able to use. So it's like, again, you guys, like, there's things that we like. There's things that are, as creatives, we decide this is the best thing. But we really got to think about what's the end goal here.
And that's where style match comes in key. Because remember that image I did earlier, podcast cover? All I did was I clicked upload your image. It's going to check that I can use it. But all I did was click right here.
Oh, it's checking that usage and license. I love that. That protects the artist. I appreciate that.
And look at it now in the bottom. It's right here. It's loaded in here as my style reference. I know we can't see it because of the screen there, but it's loaded as my style reference because I like the expansive video game world of how this little image looks. And that's why 3 leaned towards what I was looking for, but I want all 4 to look that way. So I'm going to click, now that I have my style reference in Firefly, I'm going to click generate. And it's going to basically, and I'll show what some of these features on the right can do for us to also modify it.
I can't wait to try this.
It's so much fun. Cool. It is just fun, like I said, for ideation. And there's the world I was looking for.
There's the world!
So that is, now I would love to hear what your favorites are.
Now tell us.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah,
Which
1,
ones
2, 3,
are your
or 4.
fave?
And I should say what I'm envisioning here is I'm going to use the avatars of VJ and I again. We're going to be standing on each side.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to give away my favorite by using my mouse too much.
I see. So, you like number 2.
Yeah. So I'm going to be putting our avatars here. I want the headline, that call to action that is so important in social media right here.
Yes.
And I want to have a big spinning CD in the air to kind of feel like
animation's
that upgrade.
Coming, you guys. Yeah. It's coming.
So I could do some things, like I could reduce the visual intensity. I could reduce what's going on here, the strength. And again, it tells you what it does. So it's just the overall intensity of your photo's existing characteristics.
Wait,
it is
move the bar. I want to see what that visual intensity is.
Let's go back. And I'm going to generate a new one.
And you can just keep going, but you can favorite the ones that you like that they've already generated.
Yes, which I did. I have some favorited.
Okay, Clever Devlin had liked number 3.
Oh, okay. Number 3 is very good too.
It is.
And you can see see how the visual intensity did change. It's less of the pixel image going on here, right? Which is very cool.
That's the difference.
And I actually really like 2 now.
Okay,
two
Robert's
is
saying number 4.
number 4. And I think everyone's got the same idea of I love how the platform is focused here.
Yeah.
So I can go ahead and add it to my favorites.
But I love the variety of options and the little differences. You see the hands in the first one.
We always love AI with hands.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's my favorite designer
One
meme.
day. One day they're going to get it. One day.
And that's the fun thing about the options it gives. It gives so many to work with. And in terms of ideation, like I said, my end goal might not be to use, it probably isn't to use this graphic, right?
Wow.
It is to, but I'm seeing, I love the holding of this, of the disc. or the
Exactly.
upgrade. So I might say, hey, VJ, I know we're not going to use this one. The hands are a little off. Can you work with this and design something that looks like this?
Boom. AI giving us ideas.
Which is a lot better than if you look at my pencil sketches here.
Oh my gosh, I love
lot of
this
stick
flow.
people here, so-
That's such a good flow. I love it.
So let's go ahead.
Robert's saying he still likes number 4.
Number 4, yes. Number 2 and number 4 are exactly what I'm looking for. What I can do here is I can download it. I can copy a link to it to share to him. I can copy the image. I can edit it directly in Express,
That's an
which
option
is
where you can just jump right into Adobe Express.
Which-
It just imports it.
which we love, right? Because I love the Express features. That's why I think anybody, we're creatives, we're not designers, right? But we can use Express in the same way that someone who is a designer can work Express into their workflow in so many
Exactly.
different ways. On teams like I'm expressing here is huge. So I'm going to download it just because I might want to style match it in the future as well, because I can style match my style match and just keep doing that again and again and again.
Style match on style match on style match.
Hashtag style match on style match. There we go. So I've downloaded that. Likewise, I also have some favorites. Let me go back to my main menu.
Wow, that was all AI.
That yes, so everything.
good.
I believe so. The Firefly community page.
Okay.
I haven't clicked on it, but let's take a look. It is all just things generated. Hey, look, it's us.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty meta. But it is all things generated by people in the Firefly community, which is awesome.
Oh,
That is very
so
fun.
cool. I honestly had never used or seen
It's a whole
Adobe
world.
Firefly until today. This is amazing.
There's so much fun you can do with it. And again, as you can see the options, I'm just scratching the surface today.
Oh my goodness, this is so exciting.
Let's go to my favorites. And so again, I just saved that one.
Okay.
This is one I saved previously, but I like the one we just made even better than the one I had the other day.
This also accomplishes that variety of content that you kind of want to aim for on
Yes.
social media. If you're marketing across platforms, these are the little changes and mix-ups that just make every platform unique.
Yeah.
And it looks like you've got a team of maybe 10 people back there working on things, when in
Yes.
fact it's always 1 or 2.
Yes, exactly. Wearing many hats, like we said.
Wearing many hats.
Linton mentioning they love the text effects in Firefly. I really
Yes.
do too.
Oh, I can't wait to get
You
into
can get
that.
to those, which is by you add your text, and you can go ahead and there's so many different things right here. Text effects, just like I did. I can type in. I'm not going to be using this one today, but like you can add like how like tight the effect is, how loose it is. I've seen one where someone made text that was like cat fur, right? And you can make it like loose cat fur. It's kind of flowing everywhere.
Oh, how interesting.
There's so many presets as well. Again, I could talk about this for days.
See, I got you on mobile. You're about to get me on desktop.
Yeah,
get
there we
all
go.
this.
We both got something to explore.
This is incredible.
So I have your stuff. I'm going to go ahead. I do like the design I created beforehand, right? So the reference. We're going to work with this, and I'm going to pop my avatar back in there. I'm going to get VJ's avatar. And again, this is preloaded into our brand in Adobe Express. I have many that I've worked with, and they're all there, which is awesome. I haven't done this, but you can even create your own templates.
This is such a time saver, you all, is to have to constantly go back and upload the brand elements that you're using over and over and over again. You can just cut the time out and just have it preloaded into your Adobe Premium brand.
The really cool thing that, again, the last time I was here in San Francisco, from this very studio, I showed this feature. This icon in the corner, I know it's kind of probably small to see.
The link icon?
Yeah, the little link, that means it's a linked asset, and it says right here, linked asset.
Love it.
That means that if, VJ creates this in Photoshop and it's linked, if he is at his computer and I say, hey, I need you to be wearing a blue shirt, right? He's the Photoshop guru. I don't know how to do that. But he can go and just change the shirt to blue.
Nice. And it'll
Save it.
change.
It'll tell me, hey, there's an update. Do you want to allow it? And his shirt will turn blue because it's a linked asset. So that just shows the pipeline and the workflow between Express and the other Adobe tools.
Collaboration, people.
Oh, yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
So there we go. We got us similar to what we looked at before. And I'm going to work a little quick just to get us up to speed applying the duotone effects. So we'll get that looking nice just so we can do that. but I'm going to show how I can use some other features of Firefly. Because what I want now, I almost view this as like the docking station, this here in the background. It's almost it's reminding me of Starburst candy right now, I don't know, or Skittles. Maybe Skittles?
Those are the colors. Taste the rainbow.
I want this to be like the disc player, right? The platform, and I want a floating retro video game CD in the middle, and I'm going to make it
vision,
spin,
man.
okay?
You've got vision.
And you can see I already have one here, but I'm going to show how I created it because it's in our brand kit, but it's also very easy to create in Firefly, and there's some other elements we're going to use. There is the one I created, but let me show you how I made it and got to that point. You can see I have a lot of fun stuff I've been working with. Go back to Firefly. I like the 16-bit prompt. I find when it comes to your prompts, when you find some language or terminology that really works for you, stick with it,
Absolutely.
right? And write them down. I have them written down right here. If you see me glancing down to the left.
I'm the same way about hashtags. Once I've discovered them, I keep what I call a hashtag bank. And I know I think you also work with Later Media as well.
Yeah.
And I think in their program they have a place where you can store your hashtags, and they'll tell you which ones perform the best.
Yes.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You really don't.
Keep it stored. So what I'm doing is I'm generating a video game disc. That's very similar to my last prompt. So you can see it's kind of generating what I had before.
Yeah.
I want something more like number 3. I think number 3 is great.
Okay.
But it's almost too detailed. I love the detail in the image and the background that we have here. I want a little bit more pixelation on the actual element because I want it to feel like it's from the video game. So I'm going to go ahead and do some style match again. And one of my favorite images that we have, our favorite icons, it might be kind of difficult to see him. There he is. There's our little pixel dog pal. And I love this. I need to give this thing a name and make it the mascot of our podcast.
You really do.
But I love the rainbow effect, like streaking behind it. It feels very like space dog.
It feels a little Lisa Frank to me. That's my reference. Guys,
Okay.
what should he name the dog?
Yeah.
Can we get some dog name ideas in here?
I love that. Let's get it. This would be a great story for the origin of this dog's name. And I'm going to use the dog as the reference because I don't want as much noise because this is just going to be a floating element.
Totally.
It's a design element.
The dog's
less so-
not ending up in it, but he's going to be the inspiration.
So that style, the clean background, blank background, I should say, is what I'm looking to generate. So I'm style matching that now too.
Yes.
And let's see what it comes up with. For this one, I just did square. I kept it as square because I'm okay just using it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I wanted, right? I can play around with the visual intensity a little bit. Let's see what we get.
It's so smart. Cody Bear said it does look like Lisa Frank. See?
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Maybe the dog should be named Lisa
Interesting.
or Frank.
So let's see what we get. And so I reduced the visual intensity a little bit, right?
See?
And now I can use these elements to really just download one. I'm going to go ahead. What do you like in the chat? 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we got?
I think for your purposes, I'm going to try to guess which one you like. Wait, Pixlix?
Is that the dog name?
Yes.
Does he have a tongue sticking out?
That's funny. Yeah, I think so. Oh, no, it doesn't. But
No
still,
retro
if
dog
it was,
pal.
once you animate him and bring him to life.
Yeah, exactly. I can give him a cool power-up streak. Which one do you think I like?
I think you either like the most extreme or the least extreme. It's either 1 or 4.
You're right. It is both of those. Let me take a look. Let's look at what we're dealing with here.
Clever Devlin likes 1. Cody Bear likes 2. And yeah, we could test and see which one. Linton likes 4.
1, okay. 1 is the cleanest to me, and I love how it's like mosaic tiles going
But
on
you didn't
here.
want it so clean.
But I
though.
did say I didn't want clean, so I like 4. 4 for that purpose.
There you go.
2's good. I just don't like these lines here, but that's why I love that they give options.
Yeah.
And I'm sure pixel art is probably very difficult for Firefly to generate.
Robert said 1 and 4. See?
Let's go.
Same page.
So I'm going to go ahead and download. Again, let's download that. And something I like to just remind myself to do often. Here's a previous one I generated just in preparation for this. I like that one too. But we're using the one we get live.
Yeah.
We're going to use that one. We want to show love to that one.
I know what you're about to do.
But that one's saved in my brand kit. I can save this new one in my brand kit. It's so easy to just be graphics and to add something. Linton won. Yes, he did.
1, yes.
So I'm going to drag that in here.
Roland is here.
And again.
Ruben said 4. Yes. We're all in agreement. 4. Taste. You all have taste.
I got to go with my favorite Adobe Express tool is remove background.
It's the best thing
Just
since
again
sliced
and again
bread.
and again. It really is. And there it is. So I
Look
want
at
this.
that.
I want the disc to look like it's like hovering above the disc player. I want it to be the focal point. So maybe I'm gonna move VJ and I down a little bit.
Can we also talk about real quick how with the remove background option on desktop, if it removes too much of the background or too little, you have the option to also edit it on your own.
You can go back. There's the erase. There's generative fill. Like,
Exactly. You can tell it, you went a little too far, and you can clean it up yourself, which I love.
and the fact these are all in Adobe Express. Like again, huge disclaimer. Like I said, I'm using Firefly, and I'm getting the style match feature from Firefly.
But you're bringing these elements right to Express, getting to move them how you feel.
And I could,
Express
and
yourself.
I'll show some fun stuff later, not just using Firefly Image 2. I'm going to use text to image and use it directly in Adobe Express. And you get some different stuff too.
I'm learning so much today. Are you all?
So this disc we're going to put here. I'm gonna finish the design really quick, and then we're going to do all the animation at once because I'm feeling myself just get too excited for the animation,
It's really
and
exciting.
I'm gonna miss what I'm supposed to be doing. What I love to do actually is because this is blended.
Yep.
And I taught myself this earlier today, but I probably should have known to do this a long time ago. What I would always do is I would add like a black square and make it like transparent to make elements like show up. I would do this. And then I would stretch it.
Yep.
And this has been, again, I'm not a
Oh,
designer
how
here.
interesting.
And then I would make it like a little bit, reduce the opacity a bit. And
That's a fun little workaround trick.
But I have a faster one, is what I'm saying. So
Show
I
me
would do
now.
this so that like everything's highlighted in the frame. I don't want the background to be too overwhelming. But this is something that I do. Again, I'm sure there's a lot like the designers out there. Ruben, you probably know. You're probably like, why is he doing it that way? There's so many better ways to do
There's
it.
a lot of things. That's what I love about Express. Like, we're not designers. Like,
Right.
we don't know the fancy tools and the best, most optimal way to do things, but we just got to get it done sometimes.
And being part of this community is about sharing and sharing these hacks and these tricks, right?
Everyone's got their tricks.
And I could lock the layer so it's not getting in the way. I can
Nice.
lock it, unlock it. What I actually just discovered last night is what I'm gonna do is make the background just dark. And I know you can't see it because it's an image, but now if I just directly change the brightness on the opacity of the image, the background's coming through. So that's what I do now. It's one less step.
But it works.
Fun little trick for you.
Yeah, however you get there.
And I'm gonna lock the background. Do we like that? That's probably. I want to find the medium between like too dark where you can't
Yeah,
see the
because you still want to see
details.
all that beautiful
Yeah.
artwork in the background.
How's that look to you?
I like
Down
it.
there, 50. Yeah. So I'll lock that. You can see the title a bit more. That's coming through. And
This is so cool.
I want to add a nice. I'm trying to be conscious of spacing. You reminded me of that.
Exactly. Let the design breathe.
I think biggest thing I had to learn was to respect spacing in the design and let it breathe.
Let it breathe. Robert says it's an Illustrator trick also.
Oh, okay.
you
And
go.
to do it that same way or different. We're learning a lot about Illustrator today, aren't we?
I learned so much about Adobe Illustrator this week. It's really exciting.
So what I want is a big play button, like a big button for people to press that says like new episode now.
Yes.
I'm gonna say new episode. Remember how I mentioned earlier I am
You got your
Typo
podcast.
City. I'm gonna have a
You
bunch of-
typed that perfectly.
I know. I'm surprised
Have a
I
little
did.
faith in yourself.
When I'm at home, I have like the Bluetooth keyboard, and my Bluetooth keyboard's terrible. It like doesn't register the pacing, so I always do typos. But this one on my MacBook is good.
Linton says, I love how, quote, simple graphics like these are, and people like my mom still make invitations in Word. I know, she'll get there.
My coworkers, again, I'm a former elementary school teacher. Just left 2 weeks ago to be a full-time content creator. But
good.
yeah, but my teaching partner, she's amazing, best teaching partner I'll ever work with. But she still uses like Word and stuff for everything, and like to add images and make brochures. And you add something, and you just see like the text jump across the
Oh
screen.
my God. Those days, they're
Ruben-
over.
Ruben made a really good point in the
What's he
chat.
saying? It's all about your process and how you tackle things. Amen. That is the beauty of being a creative. 2 + 2 = 4, as well as 3 + 1 = 4. That's a really, really great
That's
point.
a poster right there.
That really is. Robert
that on
says
my
the
wall.
same way. Robert said it's the same way to do that
love it.
Illustrator trick.
Oh, okay. So another quick shortcut that I've learned is I used to then, when I want this to be a button, I would go into my elements, I would go to shapes, and I would get this like curved rectangle
Right.
and add it behind. We don't have to do that anymore, which is really cool.
What do we do now?
We're gonna just go to our shape for our text, and this one right here. There's so many options. Gives me the right color. I can change how big it is. I obviously don't need that.
We love that.
Right? I can make it see-through if I really
I
want.
love these features.
Change the color to this nice retro bright pink we're using for our video game power-ups here.
It looks so good. Pink is my favorite color, so this is just
Awesome.
appealing to my soul.
Yeah, I was making this brand kit, and I actually, the tip you shared, when I was making, setting up this brand, he added the graphics, but I had to do the colors. I just used the dropper. Like on our pre-existing stuff, I used the dropper here.
Easy.
I went back to graphic 1, and I just
You programmed in.
used the dropper. Oh, there's the pink I want.
There's your color.
And I'm not going to add another pink to it, but yeah, it's so good.
Then that's
So it
so
really is,
good
yeah.
because we're talking about brand development. Like keeping your colors consistent, just keeping
Yes.
every element consistent is a really good way to establish your brand for a new audience.
So I'm going to have, so now I have this nice text box here that it's not 2 elements, it's just a shape around it. It's there where I need it. And you know what? I think we are good to add some fun animations.
Let's do it.
Let's
I'm
go
ready.
ahead and make
We're
this
ready.
pop
You
on
guys
the
ready?
feed. What I want first and foremost, I want some elements to really just, again, grab people's attention. And movement does that, right? Someone who's swiping, they're in control of the movement. But if you put the animation, you're controlling the movement, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to go ahead or I also heard too on that note, people are just sitting or laying down on the couch or on the bus when they're swiping social media. They don't have movement in their life, right? I'm not on a treadmill or running, swiping social media. I'd probably be more productive if I did.
And a little more dangerous.
Right. And let's see, Linton suggested that we can maybe add a little bit more space to
Yeah,
it.
he says, can you
So I
change
can
the
go
margin
ahead.
of the text that the text has a bit more space from the edge of the box? Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that. It's not as tight.
exactly.
And what I want with this is I'm going to animate it now. And I don't want that yet. I want the elements popping in. So let's go ahead. And what we want, everything is going to pop in as soon as they see it, is going to be, I got me, VJ, I got our power-up shadows here, and I want the title. I want all of that. I'm going to use an in animation. There's in, looping, and out. And I'm going to use all 3 here in this.
Crazy.
So I'm going to use in, and I love pop is my favorite animation in Adobe
Oh, yeah.
Express. I just love it. Popping in, bright and vibrant in your face. So there we go. We got pop. Again, you can have the intensity change. I actually fairly like this one. Let's see.
That's a
I like that one.
desktop. This is so cool.
It doesn't really get out of the margins. I could reduce, if I'm finding that the intensity is too much where VJ's feet are popping out, I could reduce that a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So we got that.
It looks so cool.
There's one animation. This button I don't want popping in. I want it like flickering, like tap here, select here.
Yeah,
right?
give it a little extra, and that's very video gamey.
Oh, look, Clever Devlin is saying, I placed a quarter down in the cabinet for next play, like it's an old jukebox.
Oh, I love it.
So that's the feeling
You
I'm
guys
looking
get
for.
it.
Thank you.
You get the vision.
It feels like a jukebox, just playing the tunes, playing the podcast. So we're going to animate the new episode button with just a looping. I don't want it to pop in. I want it to just be blinking and just
Look at
there.
that.
And just kind of, our flickering is pretty good too. It's nice. It'll do a few kind of staggered, like the video game is old and going out of...
Exactly, but we love that. We love it.
You need to take the video game cartridge out, blow into it so it works.
It gives
with Super Nintendo.
nostalgia. I mean, this is obviously going to be this targets such a specific audience that has a core memory of this style and this video game. This is brilliant.
Which I think kids are losing these days.
I know, but you know what?
Kids these days.
I went through a Roblox moment during the pandemic because my nephew was on Roblox a lot, and I was trying to still hang out with him. And I noticed that a lot of those video games, they were giving like 80s, because it's a developer app, right? And so it was interesting how it's kind of made its way back.
The style's full circle.
Yeah,
right?
it all comes full circle. Everything
that.
comes back into style eventually.
They're always inspired, yep.
Linton says, I love how those settings are all changeable.
Yes.
Isn't that the best?
And I've saved my favorite animation. So here's what we're looking at right now. We pop in. But it's missing some key motion that I want to make the focal point.
You wanted that CD to move.
I want that CD to move.
We want to make it spin,
and
baby.
I love how easy this is. I'm going to have the CD selected. I'm going to go to animation. I want this looping because it's just going and going.
Yes.
Looping just means for the duration of the video file, how long it's going to be playing, it'll just do it. It doesn't have like the pop will just intro pop and then it'll play. Yeah, it'll stay. But the loop, I just want going and going and going. So I'm going to go ahead and spin. There it is already. There's our CD playing.
This is like too cool.
I can change the direction of the spin. I can have it. I like the soft, steady pacing, but I can change that. I can literally look how fast it can.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Just
you guys,
give everybody a headache on my feed.
I was here in the beginning days of this app, and so to see how far it has come, and it's still going, shout out the Adobe Express team. Y'all are doing it. I see you. I see you.
Oh, and like we said, more to come with the animations, more to come with everything.
This is not it, people.
I always love hearing the updates of what's coming. So that's what I want. I don't know if I'm on music, and I don't want to blast through people's speakers, but something that you could do that's a lot of fun.
You can add audio.
Is that you can add audio, and I think I just type in.
Oh, and I'm sure they're all royalty.
You can use them.
It's all free
for social media. So Space Game Arcade Loop. That's the one I would use. I don't know if it's connected, but I also don't want to blast into the live stream.
Now I have a social media question for you. This audio versus audio on social media. What are your thoughts?
That I find it really depends on what you're going to do with the content. I like to use the Reels or TikTok audio where I can. My favorite content, I'm not a huge video creator. I love my infographics, my single posts, which I'm going to show one really soon. That's a lot of fun. I like that style. So when I do video, it's more like a voiceover with like animated elements kind of style going on. And I like to use just like a simple instrumental track from Reels, from Instagram's library. But I ran into some issues where I work with a lot of brands and brand partnerships. And if they ever want to like whitelist my content, meaning I put they use it as an ad on my behalf, right? Or I boost it. Sometimes I offer I'm comfortable boosting my content. Tell me the budget you want behind it.
Right.
You can't do that when it's the Reels library.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, because we don't own that music.
Yes.
So this is where
I've been able to boost content no problem with using this audio.
Absolutely. And I think if you have a business page, especially on Instagram, you cannot use all that fun, good audio. And the options on Instagram, if it's not like the most popular music, it's not great. So I love that this option is available for you all.
And homework for everybody, go in and look for Space Game Arcade Loop and listen to that later. So some fun stuff I could do. I got this pretty much animated. It pops in. There we go. Something that I think we both love is how easy it is to resize.
This looks so good.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's fun. Let's make it a story, right?
Because we love stories.
Let's go ahead.
Because you got to be that's going to look great on the feed, and it's going to alert people that there is a new episode. But in your stories, which I think Instagram is now prioritizing stories a bit more.
I'm finding that for sure. Yes,
that's where the people are hanging out at. And so look at that quick resize.
And I just have to make some slight variations,
Look at
right?
that.
But it's all there exactly as I need. I'm going to make us, again, you mentioned knowing the nuances of the platform, or the format, which is...
Mind the format.
Instagram's amazing, but there is a lot to know about it. So learn
There's tricks.
learn what works, and use tricks like resizing. I'm going to make us a little bit bigger.
Love it. And I see how you're clearing up some space where I see where you're getting
what might go here? What could I put here?
You're going to put the link.
I could put my link sticker.
Where people can play it.
So that would be right there. Listen on Spotify. Listen on Apple Music.
Exactly. This is so cool. You see, and you did all this without bothering VJ.
Yeah, exactly. VJ who? No, I'm just kidding.
No. I remember there were some concerns about Spark or Express when it first came out about it replacing designers. But I think what it does is it elevates design work, and true designers can put their work in so that we as the creators and the small business owners can just replicate the work in a way that still honors what was done originally, but just changes it up so we can continue to use it.
Yes.
Because designers can be very expensive, and they are worth every dime.
Yes.
Baby, they are worth every single dime. But if you're a small business owner, you can't always afford to contract them every single time for every single promotion that you want to put out there. So I encourage people, hire designers and get them to create templates for you.
Yes. Be a part of the workflow with them, right? And I think that I'm assuming the designer also appreciates that too. I know VJ does when I'm not bugging him constantly.
Absolutely.
And someone mentioned in the last session the frustration of having a client repeatedly come back being like, can you change this one small thing? Change this one small thing? And they like the original to begin with.
Oh my God.
I don't do that to him because I can say, hey, I think, what if it looks something like this? And then he goes, and I just wanted to highlight this feature as you were mentioning that. I'm not going to put his email out there, but I can just click this. I can invite him to the document entirely. I think it's going to show some people's emails. But I can invite him there and I can type him in. He's sharing that with me.
Exactly.
And I can add comments. I can say, hey, what do you think of the CD, right? So let's place a pin. Actually, Ruben, if Ruben's still in there in the chat, Ruben and I did a collaboration entirely in Adobe Express.
Wow.
I can actually pop over to show it. I got you on my home here, Ruben.
This is so important, you guys. I worked with another platform that shall not be named But when real-time collaboration was not available like this, we had like 5 variations of the same designs going on. And the director of it all just had to like lock everything in and be like, we cannot put these out there like this.
So this project, Ruben is in the chat. You can recognize his profile picture there. Him and I created this together entirely in Express.
I love it.
And we didn't need to communicate outside of Express. Like we made this whole thing. You and I talked about the post sizes of Instagram. And again, he's the designer of the two of us. So we were able to give comments and leave and pin feedback about like, hey, can you add this? Can you do this? And it was just such a smooth process. And that's on my profile right there. And it's posted with the collaboration feature, which is huge.
It.
So it's just so many tools. I've resized it. I think I'm gonna go quick, and I think I can create a really fun single post. I'm gonna try to do it in 9 minutes. And we're gonna see if we can do it.
Hi, Michelle. We see you.
So things I love is, like I said, I love single image graphics. My whole Instagram account is mostly infographics. It's the teacher in me. I love textbooks.
There's such good infographics, you guys. Oh yeah, by the way, follow him. What's your Instagram?
Just the Lucas O'Keefe.
And I'm at OMG. It's Courtney T. Follow us. Hang out with us.
I love yours way better. I wish I need to. I have a boring the because someone else had Lucas.
But it's
O'Keefe.
like the.
No, someone else had Lucas O'Keefe, and he tried to sell it to me once.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways, so what I've done is I've generated these in Firefly already. But just to save time, I'm gonna go ahead and pop them in because they're saved in my brand library. But you can see I do have them. I'm gonna use this one actually, so I want to keep that open. Here it is. I wanted like a nice video game trophy room because we're gonna earn some prizes at the end of our quest.
I see.
And we want to focus on that as like the symbol here is, or the message here in the content is, let our podcast give you the creative rewards. And thank you, Cody, for putting our Instagrams in the chat.
Thank you. That's my website, but
and then
Instagram.com/OMG. It's Courtney T. You'll find me.
So I'm gonna do my same trick here, where I know I just made this lovely background in Firefly, but I'm gonna hide it for a moment just to bring down the color here.
Yes.
The distraction, I should say. And what I want this single post to be, I love it's already picking up on my font that I've used in the graphic.
Smart tools. Very smart tools.
I want it to be choose your upgrade. Like choose at the end of like a level in like RPGs, choose your creator.
Oh, I love that. Instead of choose your fighter, choose your creator.
Yeah, you just finished the level. Now you get the prizes. What's here for you? So I'm gonna add an outline because I really feel like it adds to the like video game style of it. You can see it becoming a bit more vibrant, a little bit more visible.
It pops.
Right there. Choose your creator upgrade. And now I want this to be like 3 upgrades that we can give. You can select your item as your loot.
I already know what you're about to do, and this is amazing. I know. So, I have the visual from the video games back in the day. I know exactly what's getting ready to go down.
So I have these trophy plinths that are kind of like choose what you would like. And I'm just going to quickly copy and paste 3 of these super fast. And that trick I mentioned, I'm glad I did it with the opacity in the background because normally I would have to lock that. I'd be moving that square and selecting that square. So I love that I can do this without an extra step.
Oh, Michelle says she was just popping in to say hi, but has to go already. Was working and lurking. I love that phrase. Michelle. Working and lurking. Thank you for joining us.
So I'm thinking, let's see. Let's move those. Working on that spacing. But again, VJ can come back and go to the drawing board on this.
Mm-hmm.
And the things...
Yeah, he's just going to come in and refine the design.
Make it his. The things I love our podcast to bring. I want to give... And the whole meaning of this post is going to be like a... Whatever you feel you need. Whatever you can take from this podcast. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's creativity as a content creator, right? Maybe that's what you want to take.
Right.
Maybe it is motivation. You want to...
We're just talking about motivation.
Yeah. Overcome those creative blocks and obstacles. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is just going to be inspiration, right? Something that's going to push you to the next level. So we got these. I'm recognizing the spacing. I think I want to move this up a little bit. And there's those guides that we love or those lines that are helping us. And now I'm going to quickly add in the elements that I need. The trophies, the prizes. And these are ones that I've generated. So I went in and I said, give me a video game style pixel paint bottle, right? Because I want the creativity reward to be like a potion bottle that like an RPG wizard might give you, right?
Caitlin saying, can we get a 4th with the doggo?
We need to add the dog in the corner.
We need to add the doggo. We haven't named the dog, you guys.
You know what? I think with the time, I think I can still do it. Let's Let's
think about
add.
it. You have 5 minutes.
We got 5
That's what
minutes?
Express is great for. Like, it's good to express yourself
Yes.
with, but it's Express because you can do it quickly.
You can do it fast. And you know what? Linton gave me that suggestion, and I love it. I love the dog pal, so we got to make the dog pal. We're adding a 4th plinth
We're
here.
adding the 4th. Thank
And this
you.
one's going to be accountability. I think accountability as a creator is huge.
It
Having
is.
a community, or that could also be community, right?
Yeah.
Partnership, just
Because
having other
sometimes
people.
you can feel like you're existing in a vacuum and you forget that there's people who can support you and go with you on that journey.
And the dog's going to be my
There's
accountability
our
partner.
doggo.
So I'm going to
Remove the
remove the background
background.
from the dog. There we go. So again, super easy to just move everything. The dog can also be a linked asset. So if VJ was in Photoshop
There you
changing the
go.
colors. All right, there's the first prize.
All right.
That's what everyone's probably going to take. I'm going to add some more spacing. There we go. All right, we need creativity. Let's go ahead with there's all my fun stuff. I like this bottle.
I like that one.
That one's good. I can work with that. Let's download it. Oh, I already have it downloaded.
Boom.
Me doing my prep. Me doing my design work.
You're already ahead. You're already on top of it.
And there, that one is. Just showing how easy it is to bring. I do have it in my elements saved already.
But it's so easy to bring them in.
Just showing how easy it is. Oh, I just made it the background of my image. I want to remove the background, not make it the background. And that's going to be my creativity bottle. There's your potion. Motivation. I like the idea of like a sword, like a video game sword.
That's nice, yes.
Kind of defeat those, the enemies, the obstacles in your way, the bad guys.
Very in theme.
goblins.
Very on brand. Love this.
So I do have, I have some stuff that I've generated already. I don't know if we have time to generate. So what I'm going to do is pop over, because I did make the design earlier. There we go. There's some of the fun stuff we have. Maybe I didn't share the sword, but that's just a rendition I did have. Let's play around quickly with text to image and see if we can make a sword, because I did say we would do that. Let's say pixel style video game sword. And
The anticipation
we
is
got
killing
some fun
me.
ones. This one's kind of cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
Reminds me of this old game I used to play called Fire Emblem.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like a sword and a shield in one, which I really like. So let's add that one there.
That's a good one for motivation.
Sword in the stone right there. We need inspiration. Inspiration can be a trophy. And I did save in my favorites earlier today.
Yay.
I saved a nice trophy, and I like this one. So let's go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Always
And
are great.
I love how favorites takes you back to the search, not just the individual. I favorited the image, but it takes me to the full search with all the options in case I end up missing one and being like, oh, I wish I hadn't clicked away from that.
Was that the right IG? Yes, that is the right IG. Thank you, Robert, for dropping that in the chat. I appreciate it.
And get some resizing fitted in there. Choose your upgrade. You've completed the quest. You've listened to our podcast.
You got this.
And there is a fun, savable infographic.
Wait, can you make those like float a little bit? Like I feel like
Yeah,
there's, like,
so what I wanted to do is have like the power up aura upgrade on this too, but we can
Yeah.
absolutely. What about like
something like
wiggling,
something
pick
that
me,
makes
pick
it
me.
feel like exactly like you're like
bobbing? Let's see. That's I like that one.
I like that.
I like that. And that could be on the feed. That could be someone's toolkit in a single image post on Instagram.
You are taking the gamification of social media to another level.
And
All right, well,
it's
we're
fun
just
to
going to
do.
wrap up now, I believe. Is there one more session after this one?
I think we are done. I think
we're done.
From
I
our
think
hanging out all day, we're done.
I think there's one more live session coming after
office hours.
Yes, exactly. And thank you all so much for joining us. I hope this has been helpful. I'm so inspired. I'm about to go onto Adobe Firefly and create. This is amazing. I'm so impressed. Thank you so much, Lucas.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody in the audience.
Thank you for joining us.